This has been the Allstate NBC Sports Update. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This is the Discover Card Countdown to Green as we get ready to go racing.
Today, the reconfigured Homestead-Miami Speedway plays host to the 2003 NASCAR Winston Cup season finale. This afternoon, one racing era begins and another one comes to an end, while 5 drivers stage a $1 million shootout. It's the final appointment on the calendar in a year packed with emotion and excitement. Dear race fans, my summer job is almost over, and boy, has it been fun. We started with some fireworks in Daytona on the 4th of July.
Greg Biffle is going to score a win at Daytona.
Sure seems like I had to try to save gas all summer, and I spent a lot of time on victory lane with Ryan Newman. Of course, August was quite a month.
I was trying to flat the Simmons car fender, and I got mine.
In September, we flagged down a few old friends. And we spent most of October with a couple of Winston Cup champions.
Yeah, baby, 2 in a row.
And what a time we've already had in November.
A season of what might have been for Junior. The 2003 NASCAR Winston Cup Series champion.
Now one final stop in South Florida. Perfect. And for one last time this season...
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot of time.
Live from Homestead, Florida, NBC Sports presents the Ford 400, the final race of the NASCAR Winston Cup season. Today, Matt Kenseth chases his 2nd win of the year, knowing that a championship celebration is waiting for him beyond the checkered flag. For everyone else, it's all about the points, the prize money, and racing pride. Hi, everybody. The NBC Race family is thrilled to see you. Welcome to Homestead. I'm Bill Weber. Today, the conclusion of a season full of magic and memories. But in the final 400 miles, there is still a lot of work to be done, all on a reconfigured racetrack that has received rave reviews. From 2nd place in the championship standings through 6th, the difference is just 167 points, or about $1 million. Those 5 positions up for grabs today. We start with that story that puts Marty Snyder on the pole.
And Bill, Jimmy Johnson is 2nd in the standings, and what an unbelievable stretch to get him to this point. 5 straight races of 2nd or 3rd finishes. And Jimmy, well, how much time do you spend watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ryan Newman? How much time do you spend worrying about your own race car, trying to get it to victory lane?
I don't know. It just depends on how the race starts. If we're going backwards, we're obviously going to be paying attention to what those guys are doing. But the way practice went for us, the way this car's been running, and the way this Lowe's team works together, I anticipate going out and having a solid day, and hopefully we don't have to worry about too much. But, Ryan's going to be tough. Junior's been very tough, so it's going to be a shootout to the end. Hopefully it's not as nail-biting as yesterday's events with Brian Vickers, and I want to congratulate him and Lance and that whole team for all their success, and everybody at Hendrick for that. And hopefully today we can not nail down 2nd.
His lead just 38 over Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's with Matt Yoakum.
Marty Dale Jr. has never finished higher than 8th in the points. The goal today is 2nd, worth an extra $500,000 from 3rd, but you have some work to do back in 38 starting today. Easier or harder now that you have the banking here at Homestead?
It's a lot easier. It's a beautiful racetrack. Done such a great job. A lot of multiple grooves and stuff like that. So they did awesome, but it's a lot of good cars, and we just really are missing it just by about a 10th or so. But hopefully we got enough to get up through there, and we can get the car better as the day goes on. We're going to work real hard, and hopefully we can come out in 2nd.
How jacked up are you about today?
I don't know. We gotta finish 2nd in the points, and hopefully we'll have a real kick-ass day.
He starts 38th, 65 points, looking back in his mirror to Ryan Newman. Dave?
And in the 2nd half of this season, Ryan has moved from 13th to 4th in the championship with a shot at ending the day the runner-up this season. Ryan, you've got to win, though, to really make that happen. Can you do it?
I think the potential is definitely there with 8 wins this season. It's been a lot of drama at this racetrack the past couple days, so we'll have to see what we can do. But it's been great run all season for the Alto Dodge, and they did a lot of great things here at this racetrack to make it a lot better and a lot safer. So we'll see what today brings.
Ryan will try to go for number 1 today for the season. Matt Kenseth already is.
Matt Kenseth. And Matt Kenseth is the 2003 NASCAR Winston Cup Series champion.
And it's an honor to welcome the 2003 champ, Matt Kenseth, to the wagon. Congratulations.
Thanks, Bill.
How was your week?
It was pretty good. That video was cool. Videos are always my favorite part of TV when they do.
What about the announcers part?
Oh, that's okay too. Alan always sounds really good. Benny sounds good.
Okay.
Always sounds good. It's been a great week, actually. It's been a busy week, though. I haven't really had a chance to probably enjoy it quite as much as I will next week once our final race is over. So we still want to run respectable today, run good. You know, we wanted to win this weekend. We've been a long ways off. We've made a lot of adjustments. Hopefully we'll be better today. But it's been a busy week. Got to go to the Green Bay Packer game Monday night and meet Brett Favre and watch a game from the sideline. That was really good until they lost it then. That was bad. But it was fun watching the game. And then we've been down here testing all week.
Did you bring me anything from the Green Bay game?
No, I got some stuff, but I think I'm going to keep it. I got an autographed Brett Favre helmet. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Your Busch car you were happy with, so they made some changes on your Winston Cup car based on the Busch car?
Yeah, I hope I didn't really do the wrong thing there, but our Busch car, we struggled with a little bit in practice. We got it really good in the race. Once we finally got it out front, even on older tires, I thought we had a chance to win. We might have got beat by a couple cars and run third, but I thought we were really going to have a shot at it, and we were leading there and had a couple ignition boxes go out. So that was disappointing, but our car handled pretty good. So we took a lot of stuff off that car and actually put it in this car. Made a lot of changes last night, so I'm not really sure what to expect when the green flag drops, but I know it couldn't drive any worse than it was driving yesterday in practice, so we'll see what we got.
Well, we'll be watching you come through the field because I think you set a new Winston Cup record for starting 37th in the year. So
Thanks.
But thanks for coming up. Congratulations on your championship.
Thank
Best
you,
of
Bill.
luck here at Homestead
Appreciate
today.
it.
Matt does start 37th. Here's a look at the NASCAR top 10 heading into today's race. The Winston Cup champion is Kenseth, but he's still racing for the win. With the championship wrapped up, we'll keep a close eye on 2nd through 6th. And 10th place Kurt Busch is 56 points in front of Terry Labonte and 107 ahead of 12th place Jeff Burton. That's the first lap. Here's what's just ahead on the Discover Card Countdown to Green.
Benny Parsons takes us for a spin at a very special driving school where former Winston Cup champion Bobby Labonte was hoping to get a passing grade. Wally Dallenbach takes a ride on South Florida's newest highway, the redesigned Homestead track. It's fast and fun. And we'll hear from the hometown folks about their hometown hero. Cambridge, Wisconsin salutes Matt Kenseth as the Discover Card Countdown to Green continues.
Discover Card Countdown to Green is brought to you by AT&T One Rate USA. Call anywhere in the country, anytime for one flat rate. By Commit, Nicoderm CQ and Nicorette. When you're ready, we can help. And by Discover to Go. It pays to discover.
So what's your image, Matt?
Ask Matt again.
Ask what?
Ask me again.
Okay. You got enough tape for all this?
Yeah. Put your hands on your chest. Put your hands on your chest.
So law enforcement is number one.
Yeah, but racing's out there with you.
Welcome to 24 Karat. Let's show you around.
Yes, sir. Very nice.
Hey, I was up there. Oh, I did it again. I can't believe it. You didn't mean to do that when you suck.
NASCAR racing is quite insane.
No distractions because there's not a whole lot of time you can rest on a short track like this.
Call it in the air. Tails! Woo! Got to call it. You got to call it in the air.
Just a snapshot of some of the fun we've had on the Discover Card Countdown to Green this season. Hope you've enjoyed the seat up here for 20 weeks. We certainly want to thank our good friends at Discover Card for all their support all season long, and we look at with them as we charge ahead into 2004. This is the final race of the season. That means it's a huge day here at Homestead. No, not just because of the Ford 400 and the championship standings. It's all those end-of-year closeout sales on the souvenir rigs. And as Dave discovers, it's never too early to drop the green flag on the holiday shopping season.
39 shopping days until Christmas, and do you have everything you need for that man, woman, child, or pet that has it all? We know I've got a few suggestions from just outside the track in Souvenir Alley, and let's start with champion Matt Kenseth. He's got the die cast, he's got the t-shirt, he's got the cap, he's even a car you can race just like Matt. Here's Matt in qualifying. Uh-oh, going backwards. Here's Matt in the race. Yes, top 5. Way to go, Matt. You know, he's got a lighter, he's got a, oh, actually, here's an oldie but goodie. Steve Park when he was with the one car. Pennzoil. No, it's a collectible, which I can't seem to open right now. There it is. And there's a car inside there. Now, is that slick or what? And it's a collectible. How about this for Lucky, our lucky dog? A dog dish. And how about a Ryan Newman dog collar? And yes, the Ryan Newman dog leash as well. You can get that. Does Dad have enough ties? I don't think so. And something for baby. Eat, drink, race, nap. I like that. Or something for baby. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. All right, now, you can get an ice cube tray for NASCAR. I'm in Florida. Doesn't work. All right, how about a rubber ducky right here, but you don't have a normal rubber ducky when you're a NASCAR fan. You've got one in the likeness of Mark Martin or Kurt Busch. Because, folks, when it comes to stuff like this, if you can dream it, they can put a logo on it just in time for Christmas.
And if you get one of those Christmas gifts from Dave, you can bet that he expensed it and he didn't pay for it. That part we didn't do in rehearsal. Through the season, Benny Parsons has been able to take us behind the scenes so you could meet just some of the people that contribute to the strength and success of this sport. Today, some driving tips from a true professional who knows the difference between a fast race and a really fast chase.
That white line represents a curve. If you hit that curve in the real world, you're going to flip that vehicle, okay? Full power through the barrels. Come on, 3, full power.
So how long have you been doing this?
5 years here.
So what did you do before that?
Law enforcement, 22 years.
Greg Martin is the utility man for Joe Gibbs Racing and Bobby Labonte on Sundays. But during the week, he's a senior instructor at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Brunswick, Georgia.
I just want to show you what happens in Washington, D.C. when it snows, all right? What happens to the vehicle? The vehicle's got a mind of its own.
His students include U.S. Custom agents, U.S. Marshals, and the Secret Service. Basically everyone except the DEA and the FBI.
When you feel the vehicle start to give right to the left, then you got to counter and get yourself out of it. Counter steer, counter, there you go. Good job, one.
And then there's the high-speed chases.
I enjoy what I do. I get the best of two worlds. All right, I'm in law enforcement, I teach, and I work for Billiard Racing, and I turn out good product in both.
But on this day, Greg had no idea how his two worlds might come together.
Okay, same procedure, car 2. Bring it on in. That's Bobby! Oh, man! How'd I do? Oh, Bobby! I was getting ready to flunk you, baby.
Darn it, I missed a few cones. I gotta get back out there and get a few more cones.
You got me. I got it.
How you doing?
Good.
Bobby and Greg start second today, and Bobby's going to try a little harder to make sure he doesn't hit any cones. Next, as the countdown continues, the road to the championship. It all started in Cambridge. The welcome mat is out in Wisconsin when the Discover Card Countdown to Green roars on.
Trouble turn 3, got a car turn around into the wall. Is one of the championship contenders Riggs. David Green in the 37 with troubles.
And he thinks he has a flat tire.
Caution flag is out.
And Vickers gets the lucky dog.
What a huge pass for David Green in his championship bid. It's not going to be enough, and the 2003 NASCAR Busch Series champion is Brian Vickers. What an epic struggle this was today for all of these teams.
This is everything I've ever dreamed of, everything I ever worked for so far my whole life. My buddy Adam Petty, he was with me the whole day.
Saturday was a culmination of a dream that began with go-karts 12 years ago. Now that dream is somewhat put in the background, back to reality, or is it still a dream?
it's still a dream. I mean, I'm still just, every morning I wake up, it's like, wow. You know, you're just sinking in. But, you know, today is a whole new day. The competition is stronger, so we're going to go out there and do the best. This UAW Delphi Chevrolet team has done an awesome job in practice, qualifying. So we're just going to have a good time today. We're not racing for points, and we'll start again next year.
He starts third. He won his first Busch Series title on Saturday, trying for his first Winston Cup win today on Sunday, Bill.
Thanks, guys. Matt Kenseth never won a Busch championship, second in 98 and third in 1999. Now he has a Winston Cup championship. So do you think Matt and Katie put Cambridge, Wisconsin on the map last week? Nah, it was always there. Just a few more people know where it is. About a month ago, we showed you Cambridge through the eyes of Matt Kenseth. Today, Matt Kenseth through the eyes of Cambridge, Wisconsin, a calm and quiet town, a kind of Mayberry of the Midwest.
He was always a good kid, you know, a good little boy, and, you know, did the right things, and he had a good heart and a good attitude toward life, I think.
As a kid, Matt Kenseth made Opie Taylor look like the school bully. Believe it or not, Matt even grew up at the corner of Terrace and Pleasant Street.
I mean, it was so neat growing up here because, you know, I don't think ever until we moved out of that house we ever locked our doors. And when I was a little kid, I remember one of my favorite things to do around here, too, is we used to play flashlight tag at night.
So this is the yearbook for Matt in second grade, right?
Exactly.
And this is his picture.
That it is. He was always a very polite young man, rather shy, but had a sparkle to him, and you never knew what was going to come out of that sparkle.
That sparkle would eventually start a fire of passion and persistence that warmed Matt's tiny race shop during those cold Wisconsin winters.
There'd be 0 sometimes, 10, 20 degrees. We'd go out and fire up the wood stove and go out there and work all night.
He'd get home from work at 9 o'clock at night. He'd come out and stand in front of the wood stove all cuddled up with a pile of graham crackers and a glass of milk. And he'd sit there and watch us work, so that was his favorite thing.
But for Matt, it always came down to, well, performance.
He actually had a Chevette that was white, and they painted it and it said vet on it because, you know, he couldn't afford a vet, so that was his vet. And cars like that, we'd be taken through the corners at, you know, high speeds, and we just lost control and kind of spun around, ended up in the cornfield. And one time we tipped over on the roof. And when it's all done, you laugh and say, "You want to do it again?" And you'd be right at it, doing it again. I guess there's some traffic. I can't give you a good one. So we had a car come up. We used to get down to the bottom there and come off, and you'd almost be in a cornfield. But whenever it was bushes like that, and you go see if there's traffic.
And it was in race traffic that young Matt earned his first nickname.
When he came along, the guys he was beating were considerably older than he was. He was known as Matt the Brat all over the Midwest. Wherever he raced, he'd go places and he'd go to see kids in schools, and they'd say, "Class, this is Matt Kenseth," and they'd go, "Matt the Brat!" And so he was known for that. However, I can understand how he would want to, you know, outgrow it.
In Cambridge, Wisconsin, they will never have to give Matt Kenseth the key to the city, because for this native son, the door is always open.
Who's most famous there?
In Cambridge? Oh, I would say Matt Kenseth. But statewide, I guess it would have to be Brett Favre.
But Matt's catching on, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he is.
It's actually kind of funny now because we have people fighting over TVs as to whether to watch the Packers or to watch Matt. And I don't know, I think Matt's winning.
Fire department usually puts something up on the tower commemorating something that's going on or just a season or something. And last year they came up with the idea of putting the 17 up there. When Matt won early in the season, they still had the Easter Bunny up there. And so people were coming in wanting to know when that 17 was going to go up.
I really can't go anywhere that people don't just say to me, you know, what's going on? Even in church on Sunday, I was trying to find the hymn number to sing, and a lady poked me in the back. She goes, "Are we going to win it in?" I'm like, "What number?"
It makes me real proud, and I know how much, especially in our small town, that people really enjoy it and how they just love racing and love NASCAR and love Matt. But I still pinch myself and wonder if this was really happening.
It really did. Matt likes to credit his crew and his cars for bringing him the championship. In Cambridge, they like to say Matt brought the class. Next, Wally Dallenbach hits the road. You're watching the Discover Card Countdown to Green on NBC.
With Bill Elliott's future still uncertain for 2004, all the guys on the Dodge squad, the 9 guys, they want to get Bill Elliott back to victory lane. And Big Red rolls back into victory lane, 49 Congratulations, Bill Elliott. Won a race, the Brickyard 2002.
Today, the 1998 Winston Cup champion starts 20th. The question is, how many more starts will he make? Four-time champion Jeff Gordon starts 5th, and he's with Marty.
Riding along the backstretch with Jeff Gordon, Rockingham was not so kind to him, producing his first finish out of the top 10 in the last 8 races. But you have a tendency to figure these new racetracks out. Give me your take on the new Homestead.
I love it. I'm definitely a big fan of it. You know, I've never been a huge fan of flat racetracks, especially mile-and-a-half ones. So I think what they've done here is phenomenal, and I think they're going to see a great race today. And hopefully our race car is one of the ones that put on a good race.
One of only 4 racetracks Jeff Gordon has not won on the Winston Cup circuit. Matt?
Kevin Harvick starts 6th, chasing some prize money and points, but more importantly, you want to win. But how difficult is this new racing surface to read, Kev?
Well, the racing surface is really awesome, and it's a great improvement to the racetrack. We've got to commend ISC for doing that, but doesn't seem like you can make your car to not stop pushing at the end of a run. So we just haven't quite figured that out 100% yet. So we'll just have to, we want to go out and say we're going to kick ass and win the race and do all those good things, but I'm just not 100% sure on getting a good read on the racetrack, so I have to wait and see.
He starts 6th in the points today, Burns.
Jamie McMurray won in his second Winston Cup start. It took him 40 more to get on the pole for the first time. And then your crew was down there, you know, waving at you and cheering. What's it like to be introduced last?
It's pretty cool. Jeff Burton came up to me just before driver intros, and he said, look, I've only had 1 pole in my Winston Cup career. And he said, the only thing I learned from it was that there's no time to use the restroom when you get back over to the car. So I went ahead and went before I got up in the truck with you guys.
That's when we'll break away from Jamie. You know, the last 2 pole sitters here have won the race. Jamie has that shot today. Bill?
The things you learn on the Discover card count down to green. After spending $10 million and moving a whole lot of dirt, this track now has progressive banking, the safer barrier, and the potential for some great racing. With the change from 6 degrees to 20 degrees in the turns, a lot of people are banking this could be the future for flat track racing. Here's Wally Dallenbach.
Welcome aboard my NBC Mountain Dew car. We're here at Miami Speedway. You remember Miami Speedway? It used to be a flat track. Now the drivers like racing on it, but the problem was the fans didn't like it too much because, well, it was pretty much single file racing. Now what they did here at Miami Speedway, they changed this racetrack completely. Let's take a lap around. The cool thing about this place is it's got progressive banking. So there's a little bit more banking right here in the middle than there is on the bottom, and there's even more banking up top than there is anywhere else. So this is a place where you're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing. This place is fast. If you like going fast, you're going to love this racetrack. It's very similar to Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is one of the fastest racetracks on the circuit. This place is smooth as glass, which drivers like a smooth racetrack. I think these guys at Miami Motor Speedway have done a fantastic job building a racetrack that the drivers are going to like racing on, and the fans are going to love to watch this race. What a great place to come at the end of the year to crown a champion.
Thanks, Wally. And this is the 5th Winston Cup race at this track, but the first time they've ever raced here on November 16th. In fact, it's only the 3rd time in the history of the sport the Winston Cup Series is raced on this date. Tim Richmond won at Riverside in 1986. The other time was 1997. Bobby Labonte had 1 win that year. He has 1 win this year. He was 7th in points that year. He's 8th in points this year. 6 years ago today, on November 16th, 1997, Bobby Labonte drove to victory lane at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The first time the Winston Cup Series ever raced there on the reconfigured 1.5-mile track. Now, you don't have to look it up because all season long, we already did. The countdown for 2003 is at 0, and the Ford 400 is next.
This has been the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Let's go racing.
Kenseth with
Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup season finale. It's the Ford 400, live from Homestead, Florida. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to the three men that have had the honor of driving us all season long on the race to the championship. But when the 400 miles here are done, they're going to have a very important question to answer. The season has ended. We're in South Florida. What would Jimmy Buffett do?
It would,
Alan, Wally, and Benny.
It would be 5 o'clock somewhere about
Yes,
that time of
sir.
day, wouldn't it be?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Jimmy's here at the racetrack today. See if you can count how many Buffett references come through the broadcast. Play along at home. Wally, you talked about in Wally's World a minute ago how great the racetrack is. You drove in the Busch Series event yesterday. Scale of 1 to 10. The improvement here has been what?
Yeah, it's definitely a 10. This is a great racetrack. They've done a fantastic job. It's fun for a driver because it used to be flat and it was hard to pass. But yesterday in the Busch race, we had a lot of side-by-side racing. It was a lot of fun. The track is smooth. If you like to go fast, you're going to love this racetrack, and I think it's going to be a great race for the fans today.
Really looking forward to it. Nothing but raves from the drivers about what they've done. BP, the championship's already been decided, but there is a lot at stake today.
Yeah, but hey, we've talked about points all year long. Let's talk about the thing that's important, winning the race today. I think that's the number one thing on the drivers' minds, trying to win.
Wait a minute. There's like $1 million difference between second and fifth. It factors in there somewhere.
Yeah, some guys are trying to win that $1 million or whatever it is, but hey, if they win the race, that's going to take care of the points.
All right, very good. Weather's beautiful. The racing's going to be great. Glad you're with us. The opening ceremony and green flag are coming up shortly from Homestead on NBC. U.S. Army, part of the pre-race pageantry here at Homestead-Miami Speedway today as we go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Darrell Gwynn will present our invocation, followed by the singing of the national anthem by Grammy winner and South Florida native John Sakata.
Let's bow our heads. Father God, today we are here to enjoy a great NASCAR race. May you give each fan much pleasure in watching this great race. May you give the staff at this beautiful facility the joy of having done a great job in putting on this race. Bless each team and driver with the satisfaction of having done their best. Bless the leaders of our nation with wisdom and the servicemen and women who are serving our country. Thank you for all that you do for us through your Son, Jesus Christ. And God bless South Florida, home of the greatest race fans. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly waits last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets went glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the
Now we will call upon our Grand Marshal, Ford Vice President Jim O'Connor, to recite the most famous words in racing. Gentlemen, start your engine!
drivers are ready to go. We're excited to see the competition this new layout produces. We hope you are too. The season finale for 2004 is next on NBC.
NBC's coverage of the Ford 400 is brought to you by Ford and the next F-150, the only truck tough enough to be the official truck of NASCAR. By Haviland, a Chevron Texaco product. By the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. And by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
NBC Sports live at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, where the cars are rolling out onto the track. We saw BP in the Winston Victory Lap salute last week at Rockingham, and in Winston's final race as NASCAR's series sponsor in 33 years of backing, it's the king, Richard Petty, that's the honoree today.
With 7 NASCAR championships to his credit, 200 wins.
7 Daytona 500 victories, and the man who basically created the mold of what was expected of today's NASCAR drivers. That people talk about this being a fan-friendly sport so much, it's because Richard Petty set that standard many years ago and for many years.
He has signed, I don't know how many million autographs, because if you want one, all you got to do is ask him.
King will be joining us in the booth a little bit later on. We'll talk with Richard Petty after we get the race underway. Let's talk about the Bud Pole Award now. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, proud to sponsor that award given to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Jamie McMurray, first career Bud Pole Award, one of 15 different pole winners this season. 1979, Anheuser-Busch is awarded more than $8 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. And a look at the starting lineup for today's Ford 400. Jamie McMurray with Bobby Labonte alongside him on the front row. Bobby looking for his first win here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. He's come close a couple of times. Row number 2, Brian Vickers won the NASCAR Busch Series Championship yesterday, and this season's leading winner, Ryan Newman, looking for his 9th victory of 2003. Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick, pair of Chevrolets, back in row number 3. Gordon, of course, 3 victories this season. Harvick, the Brickyard 400 winner. Kurt Busch, the defending winner of the Ford 400, starts back at row number 4. Kurt joining BP and I yesterday while Wally raced. He did a great job for us. Joe Nemechek in the Army car there with him in row 4. Jeremy Mayfield, several strong runs here in the closing stretch of the season, and Jimmy Johnson there in row 5 in that tight fight for second in the final championship standings. Rusty Wallace, his 625th consecutive start, and Larry Foyt, a best ever Winston Cup qualifying effort, row number 6 for Larry Foyt. Talked about Richard Petty. Tony Stewart is the other Winston Victory Lap honoree. He's going to start in row 7 while we look at the rest of the lineup. Let's have a chat with him.
Tony Stewart, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Hey, Ben, I got you loud and clear, bud.
How is that riding alongside the king, Richard Petty?
I was just telling the guys on the radio here, I pulled up beside him, and that man's a grinner from ear to ear, so I never got the pleasure of, or the privilege of racing with King Richard here, but it's a very, very great honor to be able to run this victory lap next to him.
Tony, you had a lot of success here at the old Homestead racetrack. How do you like the newly configured speedway?
I tell you what, the people that did their homework on this, did the design work, and the people that actually did all the work of laying it out and getting it all paved, they did an awesome job. I think the race fans are going to enjoy the race today. The last 2 races here this weekend, the Busch race and the truck race, were awesome, and in practice we were able to pass. So for a new layout that's got fresh pavement, you don't normally see the passing that you're going to see today. So I think they did a great job with it. It's an awesome facility now.
And your car is good?
I was pretty happy with this Home Depot Monte Carlo yesterday, so hopefully we can get her to the front here today, get right where we're at right this second here. But if we can do that, stay up here all day, we're going to be pretty happy finishing the season off this way.
Well, congratulations on your championship last year, and good luck today, Tony.
Thank you, bud.
Tony Stewart, the other Winston Victory Lap honoree today here in the season finale at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Tony going to take the green flag in the 13th starting position today. Kenny Wallace got the final provisional spot in the field. Drivers that failed to qualify. 48 drivers here to try for 43 starting spots, and there was not much margin for error if you wanted to make this field. Just 0.8 of a second from 1st to 36th on time. Let's get some final stories from pit road before we cut them loose under the green flag. Matt Yocum, you're up.
Alan Bobby Labonte enters the season finale 8th in points. He can definitely move down, but he can't move up. He starts second. I spoke to crew chief Michael Fatback from Swing. He said on a scale of 1 to 10, we're about a 9.75. Bobby, a little more conservative with an 8. Pulling many in the garage, they say the car is closer to a 10. To Marty Snyder.
Matt Kurt Busch starts 7th, and believe it or not, last race of the season, he has a brand new race car, but it has a 2004 body on it for the most part, except for the nose and the tail. They squeezed as many new pieces of the body as they could on this 97 car. The result, it's kind of struggled with the car this weekend, and it has been tight every practice they've had. Lots of changes this morning, and by the way, Kurt bought a brand new race car to this race last year and won. Dave?
Marty, today's the last chance for a lot of very successful NASCAR drivers to get their only win of 2003. Rusty Wallace is one of them. His last win, April of 2001. Mark Martin hasn't won since the spring of last year. His teammate, Jeff Burton, he hasn't won since Phoenix 2 years ago. If the 40 car of Sterling Marlin doesn't win today, it will have been 60 races since his last win. And Ricky Rudd, well, he won last year at Sonoma, but he hasn't won on an oval since September of 2001. Let's see if a veteran can win at the new Homestead Speedway. Bill?
Dave, when Matt Kenseth first sat in a Robbie Reiser Busch car in the spring of 1997, Robbie leaned in the window and said, please, when you race it next week, don't wreck it. It's the only one I've got. Matt told me their agreement was to try the relationship for 4 weeks and see how it worked out. That was 6 years and 1 Winston Cup championship ago. Oh, those changes in latitude, changes in attitude, Alan.
That's what, 3?
Well, if you're counting.
I am. Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Weber. Matt Kenseth going to come from the back and try and end his championship season with a trip to victory lane. Some firsts and some lasts here at Homestead-Miami Speedway today. Last race for Winston as the NASCAR Winston Cup Series sponsor. 33 years. They've poured more than $100 million into the sport, and that's just in postseason prize money alone. That doesn't count the things like the Winston Noble Millions they did and the Winston itself. A last for Pontiac today. As the brand ends its factory-supported racing, yeah, teams could race a Pontiac beyond this year, but not likely without the factory sponsorship and a long and successful history for Pontiac in this sport as well, BP. They've got something like 100, well, I know exactly, they've got 154 NASCAR Winston Cup wins to their credit.
And most of these teams next year will switch from the Pontiac to the Chevrolet. The only difference in the equipment being the sheet metal.
And the new racetrack here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. $10 million started construction in May, raising the banking from the much-maligned 6-degree flat track to the progressively banked 18, 19, and 20-degree speedways. You've heard the drivers rave about the new configuration, and now we get the chance to get the proof as you see 400 miles of racing on this now very fast 1.5 mile layout. How fast is it, you ask? The pole speed was 24 miles an hour faster Friday than the track record was before.
It's a great speedway. The team just love it. There's the flagman for today.
Serena Williams, Grand Slam tennis champion, getting set to set the field of 43 loose in the season finale for 2003.
The racetrack lost a bunch of spots right there.
Looks like he might have got loose going down to turn 1, and Vickers is challenging for the lead.
Yesterday, won the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. Trying to lead lap 1 here in the Ford 400. Jeff Gordon to the inside of Ryan Newman. Ooh, big wiggle there. Kevin Harvick.
Boy, Jamie McMurray getting the wall there.
Came awfully close, and Vickers will lead the first lap.
I believe McMurray may have tagged the wall there just a little bit. Ooh, 3 abreast here. Not good.
Kurt Busch under Jeff Gordon to try and get second.
But Murray is falling back, Wally, like he might have brushed the wall.
Jeremy Mayfield underneath McMurray. Wow, look at Mayfield's car slide up off the bottom, rather. Here comes Rusty Wallace in the 2.
Harvick in 29, 3 wide. He'll go down the corner 2 wide.
They just told us the story of the veteran drivers that have been over so far.
Look at Harvick. Did you see that through the middle?
Threading the needle there.
That was so cool.
That gets a yikes, doesn't it?
And that's what's great about the track right now, guys. There's so much grip in this racetrack from top of the racetrack to the bottom that you can get away doing that.
I
there's a lot of cars running very high right now. We kind of saw 2.5 grooves yesterday in the Busch race, but as high as some of these cars are running, we may have 3 grooves here.
3 wide. Here comes Kevin Harvick under Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch. Oh, look out, trouble in the wall. Kurt Busch and Newman.
And the 29 car, Kevin Harvick, broke loose there.
Ryan Newman looks like his day is over. A lot of damage to that car.
Newman, one of those drivers in that fight for second in the championship.
That was Harvick, yeah.
Yep. That was Kevin Harvick.
And you can see the 29 car just snapped there a little bit, and when he went up the racetrack to catch it, unfortunately, he had 2 guys next to him.
Now, Kurt Busch is 10th in the championship coming into this race, and he was only, 56 points ahead of Terry Labonte for 11th. So that could cost Kurt Busch an on-stage appearance at the awards night. Everybody, I talked to his crew chief, Jimmy Fennig, this morning. He said, all we want to do today is race the 5 and the 99. We want to finish 10th.
Let's take a look at this again. You see the 29 car down the bottom. He gets a really good run, and he gets loose right here. He goes up to save it, but unfortunately, you got 2 guys running next to you. There's no place to go.
I tell you, that 12 car, Ryan Newman, hit that outside retaining wall awfully hard, appeared to me like.
Did you pick a number on who that was that went down through the grass to miss the whole thing?
That's right here, the snap. Boom. You got the same barriers in this racetrack, which is great.
Man, Jeremy Mayfield.
A lot of debris.
Yeah.
A lot of debris on that racetrack. A lot of guys who are asking about their tires right now, believe me.
Kurt Busch. Just in the wrong place.
Yeah. And see all that debris flying? Now, all these guys are concerned about that because they had to run through all that.
Mayfield and Harvick through the grass to avoid Kurt Busch's car coming back across the track.
Just listen to this as we go on board Kurt Busch. Listen to this. That's adding insult to injury, hitting the inside wall.
Okay, I'm all right. Will the car start? And you see on the right-hand side of that last picture, the safer barrier here in place at Homestead. They added the barrier. There it is on the right. You see the space between the former retaining walls. Ryan Newman, helmet off, looking at the damage to his car. Helping with the repair. Bobby Labonte's on pit road. He started second, Matt.
Trouble for both Gibbs cars. Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart on pit road fixing the front valence. Bobby came down. He thought he ran through some of the debris. He did peel back a little bit, that front valence. The same problem for his teammate, Tony Stewart. You can see the crew guys working on that front valence. Michael Fatback McSwain talking to his guys about what still needs to be fixed on that 18. He pulls away. His teammate Stewart still on pit road.
So under caution early in the Ford 400 on the 5th lap of the race. Trouble in turn 2 and a hard crash for Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman after Kevin Harvick went 3 wide underneath them and his car broke loose on him. Yesterday here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Brian Vickers receiving the NASCAR Busch Series Championship trophy from Danny Scott and Tom Wilson, the Busch brand managers from Anheuser-Busch. The 20-year-old from Thomasville, North Carolina, claiming the title after just an epic struggle yesterday. He came back from a lap down, stayed just close enough to David Green, who outran him by 2 positions in the race, but Green coming up 14 points short after the 10-month season. And congratulations to Brian Vickers and Hendrick Motorsports for winning the 2003 NASCAR Busch Series Championship. Travis Kvapil came out on top of an incredible fight for the Craftsman Truck Series Championship here Friday at Homestead. Look at that, 18 points to 3rd. And the Wisconsin driver Kvapil scoring his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. Talking about champions, let's welcome the King, 7-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion Richard Petty to the booth. How you doing, King?
Doing great, man.
Did you have fun out there in that race car?
Well, I was just getting the hang of it, and they made me come in.
How long has it been since you've been in a race car?
Probably 10, 11 years since I put on a uniform and actually got in a race car.
The most asked question I had this week, did you want to stay out there?
Not right then. No. Come in and talk about it and think about it, then I probably want to go back out.
Yeah, Tony Stewart said he saw you grinning out there.
Well, I ran at him a couple of times, and I said, better not get too close. He's got a race, and then dadgum if he didn't get in the wreck the first lap.
Richard, you're here being honored as part of the Winston Victory Lap, and you more than anyone know what the last 33 years have meant to this sport.
It's been unreal. We've been a ride for 33 years with Winston. When they first come in, nobody knew what they was going to do. We just said, okay, another deal. And over a period of years, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and took us to the #2 sport. So I guess they've done a pretty good job.
And Richard, I want to thank you for back in the 60s for bringing the sport along till Winston came along, because, buddy, you almost single-handedly carried it on your shoulders to allow us to do this and have so much fun doing a job.
I just happened to be here when it was happening.
But you did a great job. Thank you so much.
Green flag's up. Hang out with us here for a minute, Richard. Brian Vickers is the leader. Jeff Gordon second. Jamie McMurray third. Here's McMurray going to challenge Gordon for second off turn 2. See if we can get more than 5 laps in here without another mess.
Mayfield looked like he would have made a pit stop to check his car after he drove down through the infield, but there he is, running 4 spots, still out there.
Jimmy Johnson, a look low for a spot, trying to pass Joe Nemechek for 6th. Now, just update you, the guys that pitted under that caution. Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, you saw. John Andretti, Casey Mears, Todd Bodine were in. Terry Labonte, Dale Jarrett. Sterling Marlin, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Craven, Ward Burton. Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton stopped. And let's see, Dale Earnhardt Jr. also stopped along with Elliott Sadler. Kevin Harvick was in too. Those are the guys who made pit stops under the caution. Dave?
Alan, there are about 15 Alltel guys working on Ryan Newman's Dodge down here. The one working hardest, Ryan Newman himself. He has not stopped swinging that small sledgehammer at the right rear quarter panel. He's been working on crush panels and the right rear quarter, trying to get this thing ready to race. If I don't get a chance to talk to him, it's going to be because he goes right back into the cockpit to get back out there.
I think that's the whole point, Dave, because he's probably so angry right now that he's taking it out on that quarter panel with that hammer.
Jeff Gordon, rim riding off of turn 4, looking for the lead. Got it. Second leader of the race, Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon has already moved up to almost the center of the racetrack, trying to find the groove, the line that he gets around best.
Check out Rusty Wallace.
Yeah.
The Blue Deuce.
And, you know, you can run that high groove. If you can make a late entry here and your car not be loose getting in, the high line is definitely going to be faster. But, boy, if you're a little bit loose getting into the corners in this place, it's pretty scary.
Takes your breath, does it?
Yes, it does. Took mine quite a few times yesterday. And Jamie McMurray is one of those guys that could do that. He could run that high line.
While we're watching some of this action, Richard Petty, 7-time NASCAR Winston Cup champions up here with us. Richard, I know you and Kyle and so on have been working so hard on the Victory Junction gang camp, and from everything they're telling me, things are just coming along wonderfully.
It's coming along really good. We've got so many people supporting the thing, from NASCAR, from all the drivers, car owners, and just plain fans. I mean, I think we've got donations from all 50 states now, right? Okay. And, that's good. We've got everybody involved, and they really think it's a good deal, and it's coming right along. Going to open in June with no trouble.
And Kyle told me that you can accommodate 125 to 150 children per week.
Per week, and, it'll be a different disease each week. And, from that standpoint, I think everybody's looking for it as a community, and everybody is really starting to get excited. And our big deal is seeing the kids when they get excited. That's what it's all about.
Rusty Wallace to second place. Kevin Harvick, after making a pit stop for repairs, is back on track. He's 30th now, Marty.
Alan, what really started that whole thing was Kevin Harvick's spotter, Danny Culler. His radio went bad right when they took the green flag. He went through about 3 radios before he could get back to Kevin, but it was too late as we see the battle up front. Rusty Wallace trying to pass Jeff Gordon. That's what caused the accident. Kevin did not know a car was on his outside. His car was extremely loose, and that's how he got those other guys into the wall. Rusty Wallace takes the lead.
New leader, Rusty Wallace. Jeff Gordon back to second, Bill.
Yeah, when he got to the lead, that was teamwork between the 24 and the 25 of Brian Vickers. Vickers said, I'll let the 24 go. When the 24 got by, they asked him, do you want back in front? He goes, no, I'll follow him.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
He'll follow Jimmy Johnson, too. 48 car to third. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson are two of the guys fighting for that second place in the championship. Let's ride with Jimmy Johnson on a replay going through that accident off turn 2. Listen.
In front of you, Rick, in front of you. Watch him, buddy, watch him. Can't see you. Okay, buddy, clear low, one outside. Clear low, one outside. Good job, bud.
Stuff flying through the air back at him.
Can't see you. Chris Osborne saying, can't see you, can't help. Man.
Johnny Benson picking up a spot around Jeremy Mayfield, took 5th for the 10 car. JB's final ride in that machine. And Michael Waltrip trying to move up through that pack as well. Here's Jimmy Johnson on Jeff Gordon for 2nd. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I know you will, okay. I think we've seen more passing already today in these 19 laps than we saw in 400 miles here a year ago.
Absolutely.
Tony Stewart trying to pick his way back after a pit stop under the caution. Matty?
He's already picked off 10 cars, Alan, on his way back to the front. He had to make 2 stops, one for tires and to work on that valence. The second one, they had to end up putting their 3rd piece of aluminum on the front to cover up some of the cosmetic damage. As Tony was leaving, he told the guys, we're going to make it very exciting going from the back to the front. We have the car today.
All right, so you see the scoring serial on Tony Stewart as he tries to make his way back up through the field. Hey, Richard, I know you're watching that 43 car out there on the racetrack. Started 26th, he's up to 15th. Jeff Green doing a good job for you so far.
So far, so good. We've got a long way to go, though, man. You know, and right now he's sort of holding his own. He ain't gaining nothing, not losing anything. So that's better than it's been.
Richard, congratulations on the honor. Thanks for coming up and visiting with us, and continued success to you and the Petty Enterprises Group as you head for 2004.
Thank you for the visit.
Thanks, Richard.
Richard Petty, 7-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion. Rusty Wallace is the leader of the Ford 400. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NASCAR on NBC with the season finale for 2003, the Ford 400 from the new Homestead-Miami Speedway. New leader, Jimmy Johnson, has just gone by Rusty Wallace to reclaim the top spot. Johnson out in front by a couple of car lengths over Wallace. There you see the gap between the top two. New 3rd place car. Just behind them, that's Johnny Benson coming into the picture. JB has just passed both Jeff Gordon and Brian Vickers to take over 3rd. Talked about Jamie McMurray maybe scraping the wall in the opening lap. Just did it again.
Oh, this is not the opening lap, folks.
Top of the screen.
Yeah, he just...
Doink. Oh, there he is. Same place.
Yeah.
You see it? He hit right on the mark from where he hit the first time.
And that looks like the car is just tight. You know, he's not able.
17 off the pace. Or maybe he slowed down for the caution.
No,
I think it blew up.
You think it did?
Yep. I think they might have tuned her up to try and end that championship season with a big win.
Yeah.
And found the edge of its tolerance. Second caution of the race, Jeff Burton, his Roush Racing teammate, was off the pace, and it sounded to me like he had lost a cylinder in that 99 car. Right of the screen.
Yep.
There she goes.
Only the 2nd engine this year that Matt Kenseth has lost in the 17 car. The other one at Talladega back in September, I guess.
So the final numbers on Matt Kenseth's season: in 36 races, 25 top 10s, 31 lead lap finishes. 2 races he will have failed to finish. The NASCAR Winston Cup champion for 2003, though this is not going to end certainly the way that he wanted it to.
But he will not be disappointed with 2003.
No. Lucky dog's going to be Jeff Burton in the 99 car, the only one a lap down. But again, I think they've got some troubles there on that car. And by the way, John Andretti has gone to the garage. He caved in the nose of his car in the jam up in that first accident over at lap 5. And I believe they've overheated the #1 machine.
Looks like all the cars have chosen now to come down pit road after 29 laps, get some tires, check out the chassis, make chassis adjustments, Dave, what's it going to do to your cars?
Well, the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson, he said, I'm loose into the turn, a little tight, late, and center, and off the corner. He said, I really don't want to affect that entry. I'd really rather worry about the exit. So they're going to make a wedge adjustment on the right rear to try to fix that center and off situation. 4 tires. Bill?
Jay Guy calling the shots for Johnny Benson. As Alan mentioned last ride in this car, it's a good car. Benson's happy with it. Slight air pressure adjustment to help it out, Marty.
Rusty Wallace started 11th, moved up to 2nd, and said, I'm just saving the tires on this run. Nice run for those guys. 4 tires, no adjustments on the 2 car, Matt.
Pole sitter Jamie McMurray backslid all the way to 10th, fighting a very tight race car. They are going to make a significant air pressure adjustment on all 4 corners, and they went up on the track bar 2 rounds.
Jimmy Spencer first off pit road. I couldn't quite see if he took any tires, but I know Bill Elliott got fuel only, and he came off the pit lane 2nd. And we'll reset that strategy for you and the running order when we come back. Second caution is out in the Ford 400 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. The fan midway here at Ford Championship Weekend was pretty spectacular. They had a unique match race featuring Ford drivers, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Rudd, and Kurt Busch out there. BP was MC.
Oh, look out, we're in trouble! How did you save that? Oh, look, to the right. There we go. Good job. Catch those guys.
This thing drives better than my car on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, we're going somewhere now. All right, man. Where are you going now? You're tough on this man's equipment. He can drive it thing. Hey, second, man, congratulations.
That close.
That close to the victory, huh?
Yeah, well, last time we were in Homestead, we won.
Another victory here for Kurt, the defending winner of the Ford 400.
What?
2 out of those 3 guys are now out. I hope this isn't a
that's
curse of Benny.
Oh, man, that's
here.
right.
Well, speaking of Matt Kenseth, Bill Weber's with him.
Well, the race and the season is over for you. Certainly not the way you wanted it to end. What happened?
Something just broke an engine, so it's a kind of a sour note to end the year. I didn't even know we won a championship. It's kind of hard to sit around for 3 hours and wait for the celebration to start, but it's real disappointing. We blew an engine last year, the last race of the year too, and I don't know what broke. It sure didn't have very many miles on it, and it took something, piston or a rod or something out of it, and just started shaking and blew up. So I'm real thankful that the motor department did a good job for us as far as reliability all year. Second failure we had this year, I wish we could get that down to 0, but a lot of my teammates had a lot of trouble that we've been lucky enough to avoid all year.
Were you trying to push it a little bit today, Matt, in the engine room?
Not really. I mean, they had some different pistons in it. They thought were just, 3 or 4 horsepower better. I certainly took the risk for that little bit of horsepower if I thought there was a reliability issue. But we ran the same gear that all my teammates ran. Where the last month and a half we've been running less just for reliability's sake. But if it only made it 30 laps, it wasn't going to make it no matter what gear we had in it.
All right, we'll see you after the race.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, that's a tough part for Matt. The official championship presentation is after the checkered flag.
That's right.
That happened a couple years back when one of Dale Jr.'s Busch Series championships. He lost the engine in the race and had to wait around until the end of the day and then get the big trophy.
If Kenseth could go get on the airplane now, he could be home by the time this race is over.
I think he'll wait to get
I
the
think
trophy.
he will too.
Jimmy Spencer, fuel only on his pit stop. Bill Elliott, fuel only. They are the top 2. Spencer 11th, Elliott 12th before the pit stops. Jimmy Johnson, Johnny Benson, Rusty Wallace, the rest of the top 5, followed by Michael Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Jamie McMurray, Joe Nemechek, and Jeff Gordon.
All right, we're about to see how this tire thing's going to work now for the rest of the race, BC. All right. We're going to see if the 7 car made the right move, and if he's still fast and he stays up front or stays toward the front, a lot of these guys may take 2 next time only.
Johnny Benson by Jimmy Johnson for 3rd.
Man, they make it look so easy coming off turn 2. Here comes Michael Waltrip looking on the inside of Rusty Wallace.
It's Jeremy Mayfield with a little 3-wide look, a little farther back.
Sure, pole sitter Jamie McMurray in a 42 car.
Whoa, that was close.
Back in the 8th position. Rusty Wallace going by. All of a sudden, Johnson's car coming to pits. Must have a flat.
Left front. Does that left front look funny?
Dave?
Yeah, they talked about changing left side tires, so it's one of the 2 left sides they know is down. Jimmy even asked, are you sure? He said, bring it in.
Hey, did he and Rusty bounce off each other there?
It was close. I thought I saw some tire smoke coming off turn 2.
So Jimmy Johnson in trouble, and this the driver, 2nd in the championship coming into the race. So 2nd has had trouble, 4th has had trouble. You got third place Dale Earnhardt Jr. and fifth place Jeff Gordon. Now standing to perhaps pick up a chunk of change at the end of the day.
Jimmy Johnson only changes left sides, but he has to adhere to a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit down pit road, which is assures him of being lapped before he can get the car back up to speed.
But he will be the lucky dog for a while. Next car down is John Andretti, 6 laps down.
Well, Jimmy Spencer and Bill Elliott taking fuel only on their stops, Matt.
Polling a number of crew chiefs this morning, Alan, they were concerned about the heat in the tires, but Tommy Baldwin, no tires on your stop for track position. Are you concerned at all about the heat in the tires today?
No, not really. The winner of yesterday's race had 104 laps on his tires at one time. He held his ground. You know, basically want to just keep it in track position, keep the car in clean air. You know, we'll probably get passed by a couple of cars here, but we'll take our lumps. And I'd like to say hi to Frank and the guys over in Iraq. They made a couple of hats for us to wear, and thanks for keeping everybody safe in the United States.
Johnny Benson.
Here he comes in the Pontiac. As you talked about earlier, the last race for Pontiac sponsored cars goes to the front.
New leader. Johnny Benson started 21st at lap 39. He's going to be out in front. Now Bill Elliott on Jimmy Spencer for second. Elliott, winner last Sunday, Rockingham, North Carolina. His 44th NASCAR Winston Cup Series win. Is this the end of Bill Elliott's full-time NASCAR Winston Cup Series campaigning? A lot of rumors. Elliott says he won't address it till the season's over. Jeremy Mayfield, his teammate, sliding by Sterling Marlin, the 19 car up to 9th.
Jimmy Spencer's car that time, BP, looked like it was a little bit tight. He was pushing a little bit. You got full fuel load in that car with the tires. What do they have, about 30 laps on them, Alan?
Yeah, pit stops are at lap 30.
So,
you talking about Spencer?
Yeah, Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer stopped. He hasn't stopped yet, so 40 laps.
40 laps with the fuel, full fuel load.
He hasn't stopped for tires, let me clarify. He did take on fuel. How about Sterling Marlin, Matt? He gained a bunch of ground on his pit stop.
Certainly did. Allen took on 2 tires for track position on that stop, but also to help tighten that race car up. He was fighting a very loose condition. They also made an air pressure adjustment while his teammate, the pole sitter, Jamie McMurray, his car still tight. He radioed crew chief Donnie Wingo, said the car is really tight. Wingo said 10-4 on the time. He goes, no, it is really tight still.
All right, so Jamie McMurray, the pole sitter, backsliding now to 12th position here at lap 43. Todd Bodine working on him. We mentioned Sterling Marlin. He was 19th before the pit stop. Came off the pit lane in 6th position, but he's lost a couple of spots since then. He's now back to 10th. Johnny Benson out in front. He led 8 laps the entire season prior to today. He leads the Ford 400 after 42 of 267 laps.
400 is brought to you by Ford and the next F-150, the only truck tough enough to be the official truck of NASCAR. By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner.
He's coming back.
By the United States Army, an army of one. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff.
Homestead-Miami Speedway with a new leader in the Ford 400. Bill Elliott has just gone around Johnny Benson's bumper. Johnny kind of pulled down off turn 4 a lap ago and said, go on, you have it.
Yeah, but Johnny hasn't lost too much ground on him since the pass. Really got him up on the high side, had the momentum. Like you said, Johnny just kind of gave him the clean pass, pull behind him, and stay there.
Bill Elliott started 20th today. Has worked his way all the way to the front.
And you were talking about the tire thing. I guess we're seeing taking no tires if your car's pretty well balanced is going to be okay today because Elliott got no tires on his pit stop. Bill?
Alan, Johnny Benson just came across the radio and said I could see he was going to run harder than I am, so I let him go.
Comes Rusty Wallace trying to get by Michael Waltrip for 3rd position.
Mikey needing a good finish here today. He's really had some struggles the last 8 weeks in that 15 car. He was in the top 10 of the championship standings through the first 27 weeks of the season, BP. But a wreck at Bristol in August kind of started to slide. They've had 7 finishes of 32nd or worse since Bristol at the end of August.
They've been in some accidents. They've also had some engine situations. And in the middle, I think a win and a 5th place finish.
Yeah.
So when they finish, they run well, but they finish well, but you got to be there at the end.
Go figure. Hey, the NASCAR Big Apple Sweepstakes we've been talking about around the leader at lap 50 for the last couple of months now. Well, it's over, and we've picked a winner. Congratulations to T.J. Simmons of Peabody, Massachusetts. He is a 14-year veteran of the Danvers, Massachusetts Police Department, and he's going to have to skip his 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. shift on December 5th to come to New York City.
Oh, TJ, I know you'll hate that.
He's going to be a special correspondent at December's Winston Cup Award ceremony. Congratulations to T.J. Timmons of Peabody, Massachusetts. We appreciate everyone's participation. Rusty Wallace and Michael Waltrip locked up here for 3rd spot as we close in on 100 miles of today's Ford 400. 7 leaders, 8 lead changes so far today already, and 2 caution flags. A 3-car wreck off turn 2 at lap 5. Kevin Harvick getting up into Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch. And then Matt Kenseth, the Winston Cup champion, lost his engine at lap 30 and brought out the caution flag.
The leading Ford in today's race so far is the 16 of Greg Biffle, who's back in the 6th position, but they better make that 7th as Jeremy Mayfield, 19 car, tries to go by, probably will down in 1 and 2.
Looks like the 16 car is a little bit tight. He gets in the corner, he slides up the racetrack right in the center.
Well, he actually, sorry to interrupt you, he called in, said he was a little bit free, but he likes it like that.
Oh, really?
Kevin Harvick moving back up through the field. He's in 10th position now. As we check out the race for 2nd through 6th in the championship. Jimmy Johnson with the flat tire a minute ago. Ryan Newman off in the garage area after the crash damage. So you see right now Dale Earnhardt Jr. would move up to 2nd in the championship standings. And again, the difference between 2nd and 6th is just about $1 million.
Well, to me and you, that's a lot of money.
Sure is. I think it is to them, too.
Yeah, I think it is, too.
See Rusty Wallace by Michael Waltrip to pick up 3rd position. Marty, Kevin Harvick doesn't appear to be any the worse for wear after the accident back at lap 5.
Yeah, remember, Alan, they fell back as far as 38. Kevin has not said a word on this green flag run unless you think it was a pit call, maybe taking 2 tires. They did take 4 on that last stop. The car very good. They have raced their way from 38th to 10th. Pretty impressive.
Harvick there, the red, white, and blue 54. Todd Bodine, 34th is where he started, and he's in 9th now. So nice drive there for Todd Bodine. A team that still doesn't know what its sponsorship picture is for next season. Wendy's race menu. Still got a little bit more business to do after today's season-ending race. It's the handing out of all the hardware and all the checks. The NASCAR Winston Cup Award ceremony from New York. It's TNT Friday, December 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope you'll join us for that.
And that's where Matt Kenseth will pick up, what, $4.5 million or something like that?
Yeah.
Wow, staggering. Back in 1973 when I won a championship, I think it was about $70,000.
Really?
Yeah, little difference.
Bill Elliott is the leader of the Ford 400 as we close in on the 100-mile mark through the field when we come back to the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Just a beautiful day in South Florida. The redesigned Homestead-Miami Speedway. Mile and a half around. The Ford 400 well underway. The final race of the NASCAR Winston Cup season here in 2003. Racing under green will take you through the field. We'll start with number 9, Bill Elliott, in victory lane last week, out front this week.
And Bill, a lot of people thought he might be there again at the end of today. The car looking very good, especially on the last stop, having taken no fresh tires on, fuel only, and no changes to the car. Bill, back to you.
For Johnny Benson, it was 4 tires, a slight air pressure adjustment. He wanted to let the 9 go earlier because he thought Elliott was racing harder. Marty.
Well, Rusty Wallace is in third behind Johnny Benson. Car just a little bit tight. Billy Wilbert, his crew chief, radioed in. How is the car? Rusty said, I'm just a little bit tight, not too bad. No changes. Matt?
Michael Waltrip just gave up that third spot to Rusty Wallace. The reason his car is starting to go to the free side, Slugger Labby working on what adjustments to make to the car for the next stop.
Jeremy Mayfield is, of course, a teammate to Bill Elliott. Both cars red. Both cars have a 9 in them. Both are very fast, and both had no changes on the last stop. Matt?
Jimmy Spencer, remember, no tires on that last stop. It's starting to hurt him. The car is starting to go to the free side, meaning the back end wants to start to come around on entry and on exit. Tommy Baldwin will make an air pressure adjustment on their next stop, Bill.
Four-time champion Jeff Gordon, his car is just a little tight in the center of the turns. He's hunting for the right groove on this new track. Here's his conversation with his crew.
Hey, I'm really shocked. I mean, the fast guys are on the bottom, and it's hard to stay down there, but there's not much of an outside groove, especially down there 3 and 4. Keep an eye on that, Ron or Robbie, you know, if that outside lane comes in, because I'm going to have to stick to the bottom here, I believe.
Riding high right now, Gordon in the 24, trying to get to victory lane. He's never won at this track. Marty, about the 29.
That's a pretty impressive run for the 29. Power move past Jeff Gordon on the last lap, going after Jimmy Spencer here off turn 2. No lingering effects from the accident on lap 5. Car, excellent. Bill?
Todd Bodine on his first pit stop, 4 tires, fuel, no changes, but now the car's a little bit tight. They will make an air pressure adjustment on the 54 car. As for Mark Martin, just talked to his new crew chief, Pat Tryson. Car is good. Mark started deep in this field and has moved his way to the top 10, looking for his first win since May of last year.
Yeah, he started 40th, Bill, and he's cracked the top 10. It's Bill Elliott. Go ahead.
And he's one of the fastest race cars on the track right now.
Last lap, he was the fastest car. I'm talking about Mark Martin in the 6th.
Bill Elliott, one of 7 different drivers who've traded the lead 8 times today. He's out in front, just past 100 miles. And let's continue going through the field. How about 11th place, Greg Biffle? Check that. Sterling Marlin has just passed Greg Biffle for the 11th spot. Matt?
He just jumped in that 11th spot. Sterling Marlin fighting what he's been fighting most of the day, starting at lap 4. He is just way too free. 2 tires in the last stop didn't help. They're looking at maybe unhooking the rear sway bar on their next stop, Bill.
Now the 16 of Greg Biffle, the car is loose according to the driver, but if you watch it, it actually looks tight. Some of that may be attributed to the air dam damage in the front of that car. We'll see what happens, Dave.
Joe Nemechek started this race 8th, has fallen back just a bit. His car's been pretty loose. They made a 4-tire and air pressure adjustment on their last stop, and it's gotten a little bit better. Bill?
The 22 car of Scott Wimmer trying to climb into the top 10, but a strong run for him so far. Had a good pit stop working his way forward, Matt.
Bill, here come the Gibbs cars. Tony Stewart in 15th, Bobby Labonte in 16th. On his last stop, they made another repair job to the front nose of Tony Stewart's Chevrolet and made a wedge adjustment. The car was getting too tight, 14th to 15th. Meanwhile, teammate Bobby Labonte, he said the car is nervous on entry, very similar to what Bobby said about his race car in Atlanta, and it's still a little tight off. Meanwhile, the pole sitter, Jamie McMurray, his car still unstable. He says he's not sure what's wrong with it. He feels like there's something wrong with the front of the race car, just no grip.
This could be a big day for Tony Raines. Strong run so far. Wants to make an air pressure adjustment on the front tires and take a rubber out of the left rear tire. He's just a little tight going into the corners. Those are big changes, Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. pitted on lap 5 because he ran through the debris. Those tires might be good later, he said. Hang on to those. They had all the air in them. The last pit stop, just a slight air adjustment. His car was a little bit loose.
Dave, Mike Skinner just passed Dale Earnhardt Jr., and actually they said he was backing off, and we have a caution on the racetrack.
Oh, man, Michael Waltrip, heavy contact. Looks like he might have blown a right front tire. Ran over something and lost the air.
Heavy right front damage. Go to the garage, guys. Go to the garage. Can you bring a set of tires?
Man, and Michael Waltrip's luck, we talked about it, it just continues. All bad.
He was running 5th at the time.
Wow,
we
what a shot.
Yeah, we have the onboard ride with Michael Waltrip.
Usual for a tire to blow right there.
Yeah.
Usually it's when you're going into
guys,
the corner.
I think we blew it right front. Talk to me when you get a chance, Mike.
Must have run something over.
Straight to the garage for Michael Waltrip, and the disappointing late season continues for the 15 team.
All right, here the cars come down on the pit road, and all the cars must enter the pits at the access road going in turn 3. Even on the green flag, that's where they've got to come in on the pit road.
20, let's see, make it 32 cars will be on the lead lap.
Now, there isn't a speed limit on the access road, but you can't pass the pace car. So that's why they're running along about 45, 50 miles per hour. Now, when they cross this white line, then the 45 mile per hour speed limit starts. Dave?
Life is simple right now for leader Bill Elliott. Great race car. No changes on the last stop. No changes on this stop. Just fresh tires and full of fuel. Bill?
Going to be just a slight left side air pressure adjustment for Johnny Benson. Had a great car. They asked him to stop short so he wouldn't have any trouble getting out when the 74 pits in front of him, Marty.
Rusty Wallace to his crew. The car is perfect. Don't touch a thing. Billy Wilburn to his crew members. Give me 4 skins and a fast pit stop. Rusty wants to tear away off the windshield. You see that coming off? And another fast stop for the 2 bunch, Matt.
The 7 of Jimmy Spencer hits pit road in the 8th position. They've already made a track bar adjustment up half a round to try to free him up.
First off, looks like Bill Elliott is going to hold the lead, and his teammate Jeremy Mayfield is going to get off pit road second. Check the camera at the scoring line.
Evernham, 1-2.
Johnny Benson, good pit stop for those guys.
Rusty Wallace and then Harvick edging Jimmy Spencer. Caution is out for the 3rd time in this race. Can't prove to Michael Waltrip there are no walls here.
Spin up ahead, stay up high, clear, all clear, nice job, man. Oh, I made it.
How about the McDonald's Drive-Thru Pit Crew Championship from Rockingham, fueled by Powerade? Bill Elliott's team spending the least amount of time on pit road among participating crews, also winning the Pit Crew Championship contest there. A story for a day later in this month. The season standings were tied coming into this race for the $200,000 top prize. But with Michael Waltrip going out of the race, it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team's going to win it.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team gets $200,000 plus what they've won this year. I think Slugger Labby told me this morning that his team had won $100,000 in that competition this year. Plus, they were hoping to get the $200,000. Not to be, Slugger, sorry.
So we'll tip the cap to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s guys for winning the big bucks. Bill Elliott's crew got the job done quickest on this set of pit stops. Let's meet the men over the wall.
Mike Ford, crew chief, Morristown, Tennessee.
Mike Jansen, windshield, Sibley, Iowa.
Nick Bailey, front tire carrier, Huntersville, North Carolina.
Jim Pullman, front tire changer, Oak Lawn, Illinois.
Todd Colburn, Jackman, Saline, Ohio.
Eric Wakeland, rear tire carrier, Plymouth, Indiana.
Joe Krushek, rear tire changer, Piers, Minnesota.
Rodney Rhodes, gas man, Chesapeake, Virginia.
Steve Lawrence, catch can, Sound Beach, Long Island, New York.
Bill Elliott's crew got him out first after their speedy 4-tire change. Michael Waltrip in the garage.
And he is standing by, has looked over the tire, has looked over the right front fender there. Look over yourself. Are you okay?
I'm fine, but one day, man, they'll refer to me and Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, us guys that used to race around these tracks with concrete walls around them as pioneers. These safer barriers, I can't overemphasize or overstate how significant it was that was out there. I was right on the very bottom of the track, blew a right front, and experience told me that I was fixing to get hurt, and went up and hit the cushiony wall, and while it didn't feel good, the Napa Chevy held together, and we're not hurt. So had a really strong car, run the top 5 most all day. Thank Napa, Domino's, Klausner, Oreos, all the folks that made this year possible. It's a good one, but it ended on a bad note.
All right, well, they're going to see if they can get it back out, but it's pretty well damaged, guys.
Okay, Dave, thanks. Michael Waltrip probably done for the day. Now, Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car is 1 lap down, needing to get himself to the front of the cars 1 lap down to try and get the Lucky Dog Award. Ricky Craven got it on this last caution. And that right there puts Jimmy Johnson in position to get his lap back if the yellow comes out.
Hey, he's going to pass the leader. He's not going to worry about getting the Lucky Dog. Just stay in front of Bill Elliott Caution flag comes out. They'll let you go around and make up that lap and a half. Battle for the lead. Here comes Benson. Oh, no, couldn't make it that time.
Johnny Benson under Jeremy Mayfield for second. It's a change of position. Remember, Mayfield beat Benson off the pit lane. Rusty Wallace in the mix there. You got Kevin Harvick 5th, Jeff Gordon 6th, Jimmy Spencer 7th. Mark Martin, Todd Bodine, and Greg Biffle rounded out the top 10.
Boy, Benson is really coming off the corner. He's going to lose second position to Mayfield. But he runs that bottom groove and really comes off the corner well.
Remember that Johnny Benson did the Goodyear tire test here a few weeks ago, along with Scott Wimmer and Dave Blaney. Nothing but praise for the racetrack's layout.
Here you see what BP's talking. Oh, slipped a little bit there. Just enough for.
No caution. Caution is out.
Caution is out. Jeff Green in trouble in the 43.
Like he has lost an engine. I see some smoke. The engine isn't running because of the flame in the exhaust pipe.
Jeff was running 18th at the time he had his problem. And the caution comes out for the 4th time in the race. First caution of the race at lap 5. Dave, you've got one of the drivers involved.
That was Kurt Busch, who had an all too close view of that. Kurt, what happened on lap 5?
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer deal. We're waiting for the race to start to pan out for us. And I've been in championship runs before, and all we had to do today was mind our own business. And I was probably going to fade back a little bit. And I guess Harvick decided he needed to pass us both right now and wrecked us both. And just an unfortunate incident. I mean, we're here trying to finish in the top 10 in points, and we're in no hurry to go any which way. And just, I mean, that's been our luck this year. It just doesn't seem to ever fall into place for us, and we're never in the right place at the right time. But we got 4 wins out of this year, and we made a strong run here or there. It's tough. I wish I could have got the race today and maybe get in the top 10 in points, but oh well.
His team will go to work, and we'll see him in Daytona. Alan?
Kurt Busch was leading Terry Labonte by 56 points coming into the race for that final spot on stage in New York. And now it looks like with the final tally of NASCAR's top 10 is rung up, it's not going to include Kurt. Terry Labonte's going to get up on stage.
As they run.
But he's got to finish.
Yep.
Yes, he does.
Run.
And Jeff Burton's not far behind both of them. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s in. Mostly guys toward the back of the lead lap. By the way, Jimmy Johnson with the caution.
He's on the lead lap.
Back in the hunt. Johnson is on pit road as well. 82 of 267 laps complete. Bill Elliott is the leader of the Ford 400 in Homestead. Still cleaning up as we work caution for the 4th time in the Ford 400. 83 of 267 laps complete. None of the front runners made pit stops, and we've got a little more work to do before we see the green flag. So let's take another break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Coming to the green in the Ford 400 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. NASCAR on NBC with coverage of the final race of 2003. Bill Elliott, Jeremy Mayfield, and Ray Evernham's Dodges are running 1-2, followed by Johnny Benson, Rusty Wallace, and Kevin Harvick. 34 cars on the lap.
Steve Park, the AOL, Carl on the bottom. A lap down to the leaders, trying to race along.
Is running in 35th place, and Jimmy Spencer.
Close.
Oh, hello.
That was close.
And for the lead, Mayfield on his teammate Elliott.
I didn't think Mayfield was going to sit back there long.
But here comes Bill back.
Let's stack up.
Ray Evernham's worst nightmares if those two guys collide with each other. If one of them breaks loose, running 1st and 2nd. Just remember, we couldn't see this kind of racing at this speedway a year ago. What a great job they've done rebuilding this place in such a short period of time.
And we got
one in the wall, Mike Skinner.
That's Michael Waltrip's car. I think he might have just gotten loose off turn 4. Don't know. No caution flag.
Yellow's not out yet.
NASCAR race control communications. The spotters around the racetrack are saying everything's clear, no debris. Now they're looking at the backstretch. And we stay under green. Third place, Rusty Wallace working over Johnny Benson. Mayfield and Elliott have settled it out, with Mayfield leading for now.
We can see what might have happened to Mike Skinner as he exited turn 4.
Whoa.
Oh, just got high and got it loose, and the back caught and the front said bam.
I'm not sure the 38 car maybe didn't take some air off that spoiler, VP.
This is Jimmy Johnson.
Outside field, one up against the wall here. One up against the wall. One up against the wall. No caution. No caution. Outside.
That's close.
Now, I'll tell you what, those spotters, they work nonstop, don't they?
Always nice to have good brakes on the car.
Yes.
Remember, Jimmy Johnson is back on the lead lap after that last caution flag, so he's trying to come back from the tail end of the field. Got more on Mike Skinner, Marty?
Yeah, they said he just got loose, and guess who just showed up at his pit right before he wrecked?
Michael Walker.
Michael Walker, the team owner. He said, I'm just bad luck today. I'm going to go home.
All right.
He may be going home by himself.
New leader. Bill Elliott back around Jeremy Mayfield. Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Remember the two drivers racing for second in the final championship standings.
Back in the 23rd position.
At one point it looked pretty bleak for the 48 team, but now it's looking much better.
Now we can see that he now has regained the second position as they run in the point standings.
And he's turning that engine.
You heard the engine go.
Yeah, I mean, and it was, he is turning that thing.
Yep.
Talking about the Hendrick cars, a 48-24 turning about 9,500 RPM.
Wow. Speaking of rallies, Tony Stewart about to take 6th place from Jimmy Johnson. Matt, he's gone to the back of the pack now, what, twice and come back through?
Ray Evernham's biggest worry isn't about who's going to win between the 9 or 19. It's about who sits back in 7th. Tony Stewart. What a rally. 40th, all the way almost inside the top 5. They made an air pressure adjustment and a wedge adjustment on that last stop to fix that tight condition. And to update you on what that big hole was in the nose of that Chevrolet, someone's coil spring went through the nose and out the bottom. 4 pieces of aluminum on the front, and he is working his way back to the front. He's got a reservation up there, Alan.
Well, the coil spring must have been out of the 12 or 97.
That was from the accident back at lap 5.
Tony goes by Spencer, and here we see Harvick trying to get by the 10 car. That's 3rd spot.
Speaking of the accident at lap 5, Kevin Harvick sliding up into Ryan Newman, who then caught Kurt Busch, but Harvick got away pretty much unscathed. He went to the back, has come back up through, now just taking 3rd place.
And these guys are going at it. Todd Bodine, Jimmy Spencer, Biffle, and then here goes Mark Martin on the inside of Biffle.
6th and 16 will be for 9th place there, Wally. And more of a little hornet's nest farther back. Jimmy Johnson, the 48, trying to come up through. Now, Dave, earlier I said I thought the engine in the 99 sounded sour. Apparently, that's not the case.
That was actually a pretty good guess because they were falling back so far. In fact, lost a lap. On a pit stop earlier, I think it was the lap 30 pit stop, Jeff came in and they made changes to the car, took off the tires, realized he had a right rear tire going down. The car was very, very loose. So they made adjustments and sent him back out. Unfortunately, they then discovered the tire was down. They had to come back in, lose a little track position, and take the adjustments back out as he moves forward.
And on that caution where he discovered the tire was down, he was the lucky dog. So he got right back on the lead lap, and they fixed their problems, and off he goes. Rusty Wallace by Johnny Benson for 4th. How about JB, Bill?
Yeah, the 10 just a little too tight. Benson in on the radio a lap or 2 ago. Car's just a little bit too tight, so we let Rusty go.
Long way to go still. No need to get in a hurry. Just coming up on 150 miles here in the Ford 400. Ray Evernham's Dodges running 1 and 2. It's Bill Elliott looking for back-to-back wins to end 2003. He leads. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
NBC's coverage of the Ford 400 is brought to you by Discover to Go. It pays to discover. By Mountain Dew, the people who brought you Mountain Dew. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. And by Wendy's new home-style chicken strips. Another reason it's better here.
Yeah, it's better here. That's a good description of the way the racing's been today at the new Homestead-Miami Speedway after its $10 million makeover that brought these turns from their flat 6-degree banks up to the 19 and 20 degrees we see today. Phenomenal racing so far. Bill Elliott's out in front. Lots of action all through the pack. This is back for about 20th place. Tony Raines, Dale Jr., Jeff Burton, Terry Labonte. How about 74, Bill?
He's had a good day, Alan. On their last pit stop, they had a tire get away and rolled across pit road, hit the wall. They were sent to the end of the longest line, restarted in 22nd, worked his way up to about 18th or so. Then a couple of faster guys caught him, so he slipped on back. But another pit stop, they could have another strong finish here today.
Yeah, career best finish last Sunday at Rockingham. Tony Raines finished 6th. And entering this final race of the season, another team still not sure exactly what lies ahead.
Sure, they got people looking at them probably for next year. They're saying, hey, watch this race. We'd like to have your company on the side of our car. So, yeah, this is an important race for a lot of teams. Algo Dine, I think, is another one. Their team does not have a sponsor for next year, and he's running very well.
Jeff Burton, the 99 car, sponsorship has not been announced.
Talking about things ahead for 2004 and some of the teams. How about 2003? It's been a year, not only the action on the track, but of major headlines off the track. And here's what I want to know from you today. Our Singular Wireless Race Talk poll, I gathered up what I consider to be 4 of some of the top headlines in the sport this year. The Winston to Nextel situation. Racing, but back to the caution being eliminated. Matt Kenseth's championship or the transition of power from Bill France Jr. to Brian France. What do you think the top headline in NASCAR Winston Cup racing has been 2003? Give us your votes. We'll see what you think later on in the show.
Rusty Walsh has taken over that 3rd position from Mayfield. And here comes Tony Stewart.
So impressive in that 20 car. Of course, Tony's been impressive here on the old Homestead, winning 2 of the 4 races that have been held here. But today he's gone to the back of the pack twice, and he's come back up now into the top 5. Matt?
But he wasn't so sure how this new Homestead Speedway would actually be. Back in July while diving down in Key Largo, he was waiting before he could actually fly, so he snuck into the racetrack at about 11:30, busted by a security guard. But when he actually showed his driver's license to prove he was indeed Tony Stewart, the guard let him drive around the apron. He was kind of dissecting the racetrack and what setup he would actually need when he came back. Thought it might be kind of like a Kansas, Charlotte, Atlanta. But when he got back here, he said, man, this racetrack is going to be awesome. We are going to do well here, and he is.
Matt, is his car a little bit tight right now, too?
Actually, Wally, he's reporting to Greg Zibinelli, the car is just a little bit free on entry. They're going to work on that on their next stop.
And you can see sun already being a problem as they go down the front stretch driving in turn 1. And that's exactly what you're seeing is what they're seeing. I noticed a lot of the drivers have put a lot of tape on the top of their windshields trying to keep that sun out of their eyes.
What was it like for you yesterday, Wal?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, a lot of guys run dark visors, and but like BP said, there's a lot of guys that did put some tape on the top of the windshield. We didn't, but I run a real dark visor, so it wasn't too bad.
Now look at this view and think about the fact that you're doing 180-something miles an hour right there, and you know you got to let off for the turn.
And you know that there's another car in front of you, but you just don't know exactly where.
Tony Stewart's defense of his NASCAR Winston Cup Series championship, 2 wins, Pocono in the 2nd Charlotte race, but 5 races that he's failed to finish hurt his chances to repeat as titleist. Bill Elliott out in front looking for back-to-back wins to end 2003. We're just past the 150-mile mark of the Ford 400.
Homestead-Miami Speedway, back in the garage. Kurt Busch getting ready to pull back out on the track. That's his teammate, the new Winston Cup champion, Matt Kenseth, sticking his head in the window, saying, way to hang tough, get back out there, get what you can, guy. Trying to get Kurt to finish in the top 10 at points, so every lap could be very crucial for him here as the afternoon wears along. That was just a few minutes ago. Right now, out on the track, Bill Elliott, as you watch him live, continues to lead here in the Ford 400. Let's take you through the field. Bill Elliott's out front. That means Dave Burns bats lead off.
And Bill, I talked to his crew chief, Mike Ford, this morning about what they fought yesterday in practice, in final practice, and he said, loose, Marty.
On the last pit stop, just a half pound now the right front for Kevin Harvick. The car has taken off, Dave. Nothing on the radio from Kevin this run. The only thing to him, same lap times as the leader, Matt.
Tony Stewart continues his march through the field up the third, trying for his third Homestead victory. He said on the radio to crew chief Greg Zipadelli, we need to be a little bit better on entry. We are decent in the center, Marty.
Matt, Rusty Wallace says the car is really good right now, but he did come on the radio and said the trim to tighten up. Maybe we should think about an air pressure adjustment on the next stop, Dave.
Jeremy Mayfield reported that his car was a little bit loose at the start of this run, and that's how he lost positions. Car has maintained a little bit at this point, Bill.
Greg Biffle is on pit road with a flat right front tire. He's been unhappy with his car. They wanted to free it up a little bit. Was disappointed in the horsepower. Had to pit right there with a flat tire. Back through the field. How about the 7, Matt?
Having an awesome day for Jimmy Spencer in the 7, currently in 6. The half round up on the track bar, he needs more of that on the next stop. The car just still way too tight. Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte, the nervous condition of the car at entry has improved. They pulled the spring rubber and track bar on that last stop, and it has helped considerably in 7th, Bill.
The 10 car of Johnny Benson's starting to get a little bit tight. They'll make an air pressure and track bar adjustment on their next stop. Mark Martin says his car is just a little bit tight. He was also having radio problems. He was having trouble hearing his spotter as he was coming through traffic. Another solid run by Todd Bodine. The car is just a little snug. Air pressure adjustment and fuel when he pits. Upstairs to Allen.
Those are your top 10. Bill Elliott leads. As we are just past the 150-mile mark, we've got 30 cars on the lead lap, and we should see a round of green flag pit stops beginning about 10 from now. Got a car on the wall.
25 car?
Brian Vickers. Caution flag has just come out. Another right front, it looks like.
And Greg Biffle's 16 car was very fortunate that the same thing did not happen to him, because the right front tire was torn up when he took it off.
And he had damage up there, too, from that earlier incident on pit lane.
He made contact with Dale Jarrett on their first pit stop and tore up the right front fender.
Let's get another look at what happened, or a look at what happened to Brian Vickers.
Oh, yeah.
That went down the straightaway.
Yes. Well, some of the guys told me in the garage here this morning that the tires heat up so fast on this pavement. It gets such a good bite. It heats up so quickly that they build a tremendous amount of air pressure, and it wears the tires in the center from the buildup. So in 5 laps, the right front tire could build up maybe as many as 15 pounds of air pressure.
And with that much pressure, they're going to get very hot.
Yeah. Dave, coming to you.
Competition, this is a recording. Car is great, no changes, 4 tires and fuel. Bill?
Kevin Harvick in 2nd, Dave. He describes the car as, quote, ideal. 4 tires, no changes for the man. Remember, they fell back as far as 38, up to 2nd now, Matt.
Tony Stewart said the car was a little bit free on entry, but as the fuel load burned off, the car started to come to him. They're going to make another wedge adjustment. The wrench is in the back window as Shaggy Larson cranks on it. They hit the lugs in the left front to Bill.
Slow stop for Johnny Benson's team. The car was just a little bit tight. The right rear tire got away. That slowed him up on the left side. That cost him several positions.
Check the camera at the scoring line at the end of pit road. Looks like we're going to have a new leader on the stops.
Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, goes to the front, followed by Bill Elliott, Tony Stewart, and then Jeremy Mayfield.
Rusty, Jimmy Spencer still hanging around the front all day.
Things are going to pick up now, because I feel like we've got the 3 fastest cars running 1, 2, 3.
5th caution of the race is out in the Ford 400 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Ain't never get
70,000 on hand here today at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, basking in the sunshine and watching what's been some great action in the Ford 400. Under caution for the 5th time after Brian Vickers lost a tire up in turn 1. Friday here, Gillette announced the $20 million NASCAR sponsorship program that includes 6 of NASCAR's hottest young drivers. They're calling them the Young Guns. Part of this promotion is going to be a $5 million consumer contest on 2 different occasions next year. And part of the deal is these guys had to shave before the press.
We can bust on them if they look scruffy anytime next year, right?
Well, they can't look scruffy. They have to be clean shaven.
Oh, yeah, they have to. Oh, yeah, that'll work.
You could say there'll be no pencil-thin mustaches.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, we'll be the judge of that.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I had a great time working with the guys on that announcement the other day, and basically the way it's going to work is you can pick the order that those 6 drivers, the Gillette Young Guns, finish in the Coca-Cola 600 and here in the Ford 400 next year. If you get it right, you win $5 million, and another $5 million goes to charity. Plus, there's going to be some other aspects of that throughout the season. They're going to blow off the track here with the big jet blowers, so we're still under caution. Let's take a break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Ford 400 is under its 5th caution. Tires beginning to be a big topic of discussion down on pit road. Dave?
And with Brian Vickers now, who wrecked just a little while ago. Brian, we're here in front of your tire, but first of all, I want to know, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, thanks to a lot of safety improvements NASCAR's implemented. Miami Speedway, thank you so much for the safer barrier. That made that hard hit seem a lot softer, but the UAW Delphi Chevy team did a great job all day. We kind of got a fender knocked in coming off pit road. That kind of cost us. We were coming back to the front, though. But, yeah, you know, I don't know what happened. If it cut down, there's a lot of trash out there. You know, anything could have happened. You know, Goodyear did a great job with these tires for the amount of time they had. Miami Speedway didn't get paved not too long ago, and they had to come up with a tire real quick. So they did a great job. Whatever happened, happened, but it's one of those deals. But we blew a right front tire.
And he said it blew right after the flag stand. The wear on the inside shoulder, where you think about camber issues, was pretty extensive. Of course, it's all blown away now with the shredding of the tire. But, you know, the team said they hadn't really seen a lot of issues earlier on, but there is a bit of wear on this one.
A lot of teams after Brian Vickers and Michael Waltrip now have had right front issues, beginning to talk about it, pay attention to it up and down pit road extensively. Greg Biffle in the 16, remember the unscheduled green flag pit stop just before the caution came out? That puts him on the tail end of 1 lap down, so he's basically almost 2 laps down to leader Kevin Harvick.
Like Robbie Gordon had a problem on that restart, didn't he?
Yeah, he's off the pace.
He was way off the pace.
He was 9th at the restart, Walt.
Yeah, he slid up the, well, he was up. He might have a tire going down.
May have a tire or something going down, guys.
But he's in the heavy traffic and can't get to pit road, or couldn't.
The gearbox popping out of gear.
Jumping out of gear.
Okay. That'll do it.
Yeah, that will do it.
Got that bungee cord down there if you need it to your right.
And there he goes reaching for the bungee cord to try to strap it on.
It's a rubber strap that they hook on the shifter to hold it in gear.
Nope, there it is again. You see it? It just popped out again.
Yeah, sure did.
Up front, Bill Elliott putting a lot of pressure on Kevin Harvick for the lead, while Harvick presses Greg Biffle to try and put him 2 laps down. And if you're Biffle, you have to stay in front of Harvick if you can, because if you're 2 laps down, you're not going to get the lucky dog.
Now at this point in the race,
hang on there, Harvick.
Because we have 3 cars 1 lap down. Well, there goes Harvick, there goes Elliott, so Biffle is destined to be 2 down.
A green flag pit stop at lap 117 has put Biffle in a whole lap to run in or just outside the top 10 for most of this race. 20 car, Tony Stewart, 3rd place. Matt?
Tire wear has been good for Tony Stewart today, but on that last set of tires, when the right rear came up, about the size of a $50, they had a spot on it where it had blistered. I talked to Greg Fidelli. He told me we have seen that a little bit on and off all week, so we're not as concerned about it yet.
Outside move by Bill Elliott for the race lead.
How about that power move? Elliott goes back in front.
Strong.
Yes.
as Elliott comes to the stripe. Puts him out in front for a 4th time today. He's led 71 of the 133 laps that have been completed. And we'll reach the halfway mark of this race, the 200-mile mark, when he comes back around to the start-finish line. Gave you our singular wireless race talk poll earlier. Wanted your opinion as to what the biggest headline of the 2003 NASCAR Winston Cup Series season was. And you all think it was the departure of R.J. Reynolds Winston, their 33-year sponsorship of NASCAR's Top Series, and the quick signing of Nextel to replace them.
Well, that was about the first time in the last 4 or 5 weeks I agreed with those folks.
It was, in January, late January, beginning of February, when the announcement was made that R.J. Reynolds was exploring its option of getting out. NASCAR went to work to find a sponsor and announced it on June 19th.
Got a left rear flat?
Left rear tire flat on the 32 car, so off the pit road he goes.
The 32 car was on the lead lap. Note the use of the word in past tense.
Yep. Because he's on pit road, and here come the leaders.
Jimmy Johnson working on Johnny Benson to try and pick up 6th place here. Remember, Johnson had a flat tire earlier in the race, back at lap 36. Robbie Gordon's team trying to get this transmission situation fixed.
Motorcycle ratchet strap you put around the tube and ratchet itself back.
Yeah, you're going to need a pretty big strap to keep that thing in 4th gear the way it was jumping out. I think a bungee cord's going to get it done.
Obviously, it didn't work. A lot of flexibility in the bungee cord.
How about this drive for the 48 team here today, BP? Lap 36, flat tire, loses a lap. Got it back without the help of the lucky dog thing.
Yeah, he passed the leader. Mighty impressive. Dave, what are they saying now?
Well, you know, being the lucky dog is one thing, but what you do with it is another. And, of course, they made changes to the car. It was good. He was coming up through the field and having a good time doing it.
We just enjoy doing this stuff, getting to the back, going back to the front. Everybody tells us good job, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad said that the Johnsons always do everything the hard way.
Very true. That's why we appreciate it so much.
And Chad Knaus, the crew chief, is one of the guys who always does it the hard way. He's always the last one out of the garage on race morning with his car, but this morning he was out early, and I asked him about that, and he said, you know, for the first time I just didn't have any more good ideas to throw at it. Guess he didn't need them.
Been a great season for that 48 team, with 3 wins so far and looking good for that 2nd place in the final championship standings. Now Ricky Craven.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's still struggling, looks like. Still having a hard time keeping that car down on the corners.
Wait, Jeremy Mayfield.
Just came off the corner and slowed abruptly.
And did not go to the pit access road.
He looks like he's got tire trouble.
He's got a flat tire.
I'm saying, I'm thinking these tires are getting cut out here.
So Jeremy Mayfield, who has led earlier in this race, now is going to have to limp all the way around and hope he doesn't tear the fenders off the thing, trying to get back to pit road, right rear.
Yeah. Matt.
Benny, that's exactly what happened to Ricky Craven's left rear tire. He wasn't sure which tire it was. He was zigzagging back and forth across pit road on his entry. When they took the left rear off, there was about a gash about the size of 1 inch. That's what cut down and caused that deflation on Craven's tire.
Now that's going to cause a caution flag because it's going to lay down right in the middle of the racetrack.
Caution is out.
Caution is out.
See, if Jeremy, if he could just keep going and run on the rim, he'd be okay. I don't know if he wants to do that or not.
He's going to have a hard time getting stopped and getting that tire changed and getting back off before the leader comes back around, because his teammate Bill Elliott, the leader, is coming up behind him already.
But will he be the, I don't know.
No, because he's on.
Because he's kind of, yeah.
Well, now this is one of those interesting things about not racing back to the yellow, because he's on the lead lap when the caution comes out.
So he should be the lucky dog.
He should be able to pass the pace car here, come around to the tail end of the field, and keep limping around, right?
I would think so. He still continues, and I think he should legally go by the pace car. He can keep the car up to speed and keep up with the pace car.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see. I mean, he was adhered to the 45-mile-per-hour speed limit on pit road.
No, it doesn't matter. Even if he went speeding through, what's he going to start at the end of the longest line? He's going to be last on the lead lap anyway, right? Yeah. Big thing is he needs to get up there and get past that pace car and get back on the lead lap.
He's coming to pit road.
Yeah, that's not going to work out right for him.
No, that's not going to work out because I think he should have stayed on the racetrack and gotten the lap back.
Problem is he could have done a lot more damage to that car if he went any faster.
So another car with tire trouble. Jeremy Mayfield cuts one down, leaves the carcass on the backstretch, and the caution is out for debris. Here come the leaders for their pit stops, Dave.
Bill's doing something that he did earlier. Just fuel. No fresh rubber on this car. Marty.
Thought about 2 tires only for Kevin Harvick as he works his way to his pit stall, but Kevin said, we don't need to mess around with that. 4 tires is what it will be. Half pound out of both left side tires. Car just a little bit tight for the man in second place, Matt.
Marty, Tony Stewart said his car was just a little too slow on the get-go, and he told Greg Zipadelli, don't make it any freer at the start. They are going to adjust this race car with air pressure as a close call by Sterling Marlin as he exits his pit box, and Kenny Wallace comes in, Bill.
Johnny Benson races off pit road alongside the 48. A wedge adjustment, a track bar adjustment, 4 tires, and the tear off of a very dirty windshield. His car was a little bit tight.
9:40 and 2. This will be your first 3 to come through the scoring line at the end of pit road. 9's already gone. 42. Casey Mears.
Martin.
Check and see if they just got rights on the 41. Jeff Gordon with just right side tires on his stop. I know Rusty Wallace just got rights on his stop. Pit reporters will follow up on that for us. We'll reset the strategy for you when we come back to the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Bill Elliott back in the lead of the Ford 400.
NBC's coverage of the Ford 400 is brought to you by Ford and the next F-150, the only truck tough enough to be the official truck of NASCAR. By Budweiser, the best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. By UPS, the official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck. And by Mach 3 Turbo from Gillette. It's the world's best shave.
Okay, we got some things to sort out here. Little caution situation, and then a variety of pit strategies here have shuffled the running order on the leaderboard. Bill Elliott is the leader, fuel only on his pit stop. Sterling Marlin comes off second, fuel only. Rusty Wallace is third with right side tires. We're checking on Jamie McMurray. He's out fourth. Jeff Gordon fifth on rights. Mark Martin sixth on fuel only. Tony Stewart first with 4 tires. He's off pit road 7.
And I'm not sure that Bill Elliott's strategy is not good because I think the tires, once they run through a cycle and he cools them like this, they will probably be as good as these other guys changing tires.
Actually, probably better because we saw all weekend that the tires needed at least 1 heat cycle on them. So I think you're right, Benny. I think he likes the way the tires, and they don't fall off that much.
Still trying to figure out the situation with Jeremy Mayfield. We were talking about how if he kept going and maybe passed the pace car because he was on the lead lap when the field was frozen at the caution, but then when he came back out from driving through the pit lane, he was behind the pace car and he turned down pit road with the rest of the field, so that put him a lap down because it caught him behind the pace car, and they're still trying to figure that out in race control next
door. But he
door.
should be the lucky dog then.
We'll let you know when we get it figured out.
I have it figured out.
And while they're figuring that out and cleaning up the debris and all the rest, we're still under caution. So let's take a break. 121 laps to go in the Winston Cup season. A little bit past halfway in the Ford 400 season finale for 2003. NASCAR on NBC from the Homestead-Miami Speedway, where we ride under caution after Jeremy Mayfield shed a tire and put out the yellow flag. Let's take a look at what's happened so far here today. Beautiful afternoon. Pre-race ceremonies honoring the current Winston Cup champion with a couple of former champs. The 7-time titleist Richard Petty and 2002 Winston Cup champ Tony Stewart. Serena Williams waving the green flag to get this Ford 400 underway before better than 70,000. Lap 5, a spectacular crash in turn 2.
29 car, Kevin Harvick gets loose, goes up into the 12 of Ryan Newman, who bounces off the 97. Both those cars off the wall. Harvick continues, and both those cars, Newman and Busch, back on the speedway.
After major repairs in the garage for both drivers. Lap 29, the champion goes up in smoke. Matt Kenseth, his day will come up shy, although they'll give him the trophy later. Bill Elliott's been the dominant driver today. He's led 5 times for 85 of the 148 laps that have been completed so far. Michael Waltrip, watch this. Ouch.
Right front tire goes flat right in the middle of 1 and 2. In the outside wall he goes.
And ahead to lap 89, Mike Skinner in a Michael Waltrip-owned car slaps the wall at the opposite end of the racetrack. Tough day for Mikey.
Jimmy Johnson almost gets in the back of Ron Hornaday in the 90 car.
I think he got him just a little bit.
Think so, just a little bit?
Brian Vickers won the NASCAR Busch Series Championship yesterday, lost the right front just past the flag stand today. Into the wall in turn 1, brought out caution. And then at lap 133, Bill Elliott back around Kevin Harvick for the race lead. 10 laps later, Jeremy Mayfield, Elliott's teammate, shedding that tire down the backstretch. Debris on the track, bringing out the caution flag. The 6th yellow of this event. And Jeremy Mayfield, after the discussion and review of the tape by NASCAR Race Control, has been waved past the pace truck, and he's going to be put back on the lead lap, Dave.
Well, let's just see if Ray understands everything here. What did you argue for, and what did you receive?
Well, we really weren't arguing. We were just waiting to see, but NASCAR was having a little radio trouble. But our point was, if the field is frozen, Jeremy shouldn't have been a lap down. I think that's what they're fixing right now. So it all works out. Just got a little bit confusing, but really proud of the way our Dodge dealers cars are running today.
Especially the one up front, right?
Yeah, they were both up front there for a little while, and hopefully they can. We've never had a 1-2 finish, and got a long way to go, but it's certainly great to see them up front.
And to eventually have the rules fall in your favor.
I had it figured out.
Well, okay. So now, is that the Lucky Dog Award?
No.
They're just giving him his lap back.
Because when the field was frozen, he was on the lead lap, and this probably should have been fixed before they opened the pit road.
Exactly, because I thought he put himself a lap down when he came on the pit road. But anyway.
Right. How about the Napa Field summary? Wally had this all figured out all along. 10 different drivers trading the lead 18 times today. Very competitive. 5 cars out of the race, including the champ, Matt Kenseth, John Andretti, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Green, Mike Skinner. And now it looks like Hermie Sadler's car is going to be added to that list as he's gone behind the wall. Drivers who've led today, Bill Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Brian Vickers, Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Jimmy Johnson, Johnny Benson, Jeff Gordon, Jeremy Mayfield, and Terry Labonte stayed out on a caution flag to lead a lap and collect 5 bonus points, trying to get that 10th spot in the final championship.
So I guess the 30 car of Steve Park was awarded the Lucky Dog Award the last time. He went to one round and made up a lap. There he is.
That is affirmative. So Park will line up 25th. Jeremy Mayfield will line up 26th. And we get set to go back racing with Bill Elliott leading Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace, Jamie McMurray, and Jeff Gordon. By the way, the follow-up on McMurray from the pit stops was right side tires on that 42 car.
Green. Wow. See ya. That's what Biffle just said.
And that's not legal, is it? To jump the leader on the restart?
That's what the green flag was waving.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bill Elliott. Now with Casey Mears running behind him on the racetrack, though Mears a couple of laps down in that 41 car. They get 3 laps down in 43rd place. Then you get back to another lap car, Tony Raines in the 74. He's the first car 1 lap down in 28th place.
Oh, there we are, 3 wide. That That was very exciting there for a second.
Second place, Rusty Wallace and Sterling Marlin going at it, 2 and 40. Jeff Gordon right behind them.
Tires and no tires. Or 2 tires.
Yeah, Rusty with 2, Sterling took no tires, and Jeff Gordon took 2. Marty?
Yeah, Rusty decided to take 2 on that last stop. The chassis has been excellent. Billy Wilburn kind of threw out the idea. What do you think about 2? Rusty said,
Sorry,
we're so
Marty.
good, let's just try it. That's okay, Wally. I know it's close racing out there, isn't it?
It's very. Yo, look at this.
Oh, my goodness. 4 or 5, I don't know.
This isn't going to work.
This is not going to work. Jeff Gordon wisely backs off the throttle and let Tony Stewart sneak in there. But here he comes back on the inside. Oh, yeah. Now, Harvick going to look on the inside of Gordon.
That's good stuff.
Tell you what, you throw a couple of cars about a half a second slower in there with those fast cars, it does bring up the excitement level.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah.
I think they invested their $10 million pretty wisely, huh?
Oh, man, did they ever. Third time is a charm. This was the 3rd time they've changed the speedway, and tell you what, they have themselves something here now.
What they have now is a venue worthy of the championship season-ending race.
Yeah, you have racing like this.
Yep.
It makes it very exciting.
Who is that puff of smoke from?
It looks like
from
a 29 car, yeah.
Low air pressures with a tire rubbing or something?
Could be a tire rubbing a fender. We've seen a lot of that this weekend. They're running the cars so soft in springs, they're going up and touching the top of the fenders. Marty, what are they saying in the 29 car?
That's exactly right, BP. When they took the right front off last time, it had a little bit of rub from where it had been hitting the fender. That's what you're seeing the smoke from on Kevin Harvick's car.
Kevin is running 8th now, trying to hold off Todd Bodine in the 54 for that spot.
41 car broke loose right there in front of all those cars.
Squeeze. Spencer trying to move low. He's got Joe Nemechek to his inside. Mark Martin trying to find an open lane. And up front, Rusty Wallace after Sterling Marlin for 2nd. Bill Elliott's gone, by the way. He's 2.5 seconds clear of this already.
Okay, so much of that. That's been settled. Let's go back to this mess.
The pile.
Yeah, the pile. The scrum.
There's a good word. Yeah. Hey, we worked rugby into a NASCAR race. How about that? Dale Jr. getting up into the mix here. Really haven't talked much about the 8 car today. He's up to 17th. Started back in 38th. He has run into the top 10 earlier, but didn't stay there for very long.
Here comes Tony. Tony Stewart, this 20 car, has been very fast all day long. Just has never really been in position to show us how strong he can be.
So that was 3rd place he took from the 40 car.
That's the first car that has 4 tires.
Yes. Matt, how about Tony Stewart?
A great run, especially when you consider where he dropped at one point during the race, but a small air pressure adjustment on that last stop. Greg Cipollelli called for 4 tires, just looking at the bigger picture and the problems that some teams have had today with tires. They opted to play it conservative and go with 4.
191 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway here on the new Homestead layout. Quite a ride Tony Stewart is having here today. Next on NBC, you'll see quite a ride as well. It's the PBR Mohegan Sun All-Star event. World champion Chris Shivers and Bull Riding's All-Stars battling 2,000 pounds of nature's fiercest beast in a unique team combination. PBR Mohegan Sun All-Star event, NBC next after NASCAR.
That is fun to watch.
Yeah.
That is fun stuff.
Tell you one thing, that bull will take one look at me and just go to his knees. Lay down? Go to his knees.
Too much. I quit.
I quit.
3.3 seconds from Bill Elliott back to Rusty Wallace. We're talking about these tire issues we've been having, and a lot of concern in the garage throughout the weekend. This weekend has been camber. How much do you take a chance on putting in our Home Depot virtual garage?
Let's talk about the camber. There you see the tire is straight up. Camber is leaning the tire, and that's negative camber. And most racetracks, you see these guys will run they will lean that right front tire in 3-4 degrees from center. Down the straightaway, you see the tire is just making contact here on the inside of the tire. When you go in the corner and the car travels down, then the entire tire goes across to get the entire patch. That is the negative camber. Here this weekend at Homestead, they've had a unique problem as Tony Stewart tries to go by Rusty Wallace and does for the second spot in the Home Depot car. They've had a unique problem. They're running so soft in the front, spring-wise, the cars are going down. Normally they'd run 3-4 degrees, negative camber. Some of the cars are actually running positive camber this week, trying to keep that tire contact all the way across the tire and not wear the tire on the inside.
Jimmy Johnson trying to get by Rusty Wallace to pick up a spot, try to stay with Stewart up through the traffic. That'll be for third place.
Well, Rusty slid up the racetrack that time up in turns 1 and 2. Like he's losing a little grip.
But it's so nice there's racetrack for him to slide up on with that bank to lean against. 103 laps to go in the Ford 400. Bill Elliott out in front at Homestead. Groundbreaking about a year after Hurricane Andrew just devastated this area of South Florida. Local officials hoping that the construction of this speedway would spur economic growth and development. It might have taken a little longer than they wanted, but it's starting to happen. Things being built all around this area of South Florida, and it's great to see.
Traffic is starting to build up.
Bill Elliott is the leader of the Ford 400. He's got 3.5 seconds on Tony Stewart in second. This is the race for fourth place. Kevin Harvick in 29 trying to take it away from Rusty Wallace in the deuce.
Looks like Rusty just can't get through the center of the corners very well right now. That's where he's losing his time.
So Harvick by, and Rusty drops to position 5. Advantage on second place, Tony Stewart. How about the leader's crew and crew chief there, Dave?
Well, Alan, do you think crew chiefs get paid enough money for what they do here on pit road, do you?
What do they make? I don't know.
Well, you know, that's what young Brandon Bryan is wondering from near Martinsville Speedway. You see, Mike Ford, crew chief for the 9-car of Bill Elliott, went up there and visited a few weeks ago, talked to the children up there, and talked to a 7th grader named Brandon, who wanted to know, his first question was, well, how much money do you make? And Mike said, well, you know, when I started in the sport, I made this, and he didn't really tell him how much he made. So Brandon wrote this thank you letter that Mike got this week, and it said, thanks for coming. I had a great time. It was fun. I was wondering still, how much money do you guys get paid? So Brandon, in his thank you note, still want to know. And Brandon, guess what? Mike tells us he might just tell you, but you can't tell anybody else.
Very nice.
Because it's a lot.
Some days when they have to make those decisions, make or break at the end of a race, they don't get paid enough money in the world.
I agree.
Talk about pressure. There aren't enough antacids in the world some days to deal with that. Been talking about the racetrack, its history, the redesign of the racetrack. How about our Stacker 2 NASCAR Winston Cup track fact? They needed a lot of dirt to do this project.
10,000 truckloads.
4,050,000 cubic feet of landfill, weighing 390 million pounds, brought in here to build these progressive banked turns.
And you know, it worked well because in the drivers' meeting this morning, David Hoot said, any questions? Jeff Gordon raised his hand, said, I don't have really a question. I want to thank whoever was responsible for spending the money to fix this racetrack. I want to thank them because you have a great facility that we can race on today.
.93 laps to go. Just past 250 miles in the Ford 400. Bill Elliott with a commanding lead for now in search of a second straight win.
There's a good look at the newly designed Homestead-Miami Speedway here in Homestead, Florida. 1.5 miles, 20 degrees of progressive banking in the turns, and a sellout crowd of over 70,000 on a beautiful day in South Florida. Beautiful day for Bill Elliott. Underdale Jarrett continues to lead. We'll try and get you through the field before something happens. Dave, take it away.
Remember on that last stop, Bill Elliott changed no tires. He only took on fuel. They did that earlier in the race. Their lap times didn't fall off. They saw only slight wear on the tires that would alarm them in any way. So it was was a good change then. It's a good change now. Jimmy Johnson started this run in 11th place. He moved his way all the way up to second. The car is very good. The last adjustment, a little wedge in air to fix a tight condition. Matt?
Tony Stewart had closed it on Bill Elliott, but then he couldn't close anymore. Jimmy Johnson got by. Tony just keyed the mic and told Greg Zabinelli, the car is now a little tick tight in the center. I need help on that on the next stop, Marty.
Matt working lap 182, and just one lap ago, Kevin Harvick radioed his crew, said the car is starting to get real tight, looking for hopefully their last stop of the day at lap 205. Bill?
Johnny Benson came to Florida, won a fishing tournament on Monday, won another one here inside the track on Wednesday. Now he's trying to reel in the leaders in a car that gets better the longer they stay green. Matt?
Jamie McMurray will tell you they feel like 4 times this year they've let a race win get away, trying to close out the season with a win. The 2-tire stop on the last, they put on a set of scuffs that showed loose during happy hour to try to free that race car up, but it is still not enough, still tight. Meanwhile, his teammate, Sterling Marlin, hasn't had a top 5 finish since last September of 2002. The car is still a little tick on the tight side. Tony Glover keeps yelling at him, you're driving in way too deep, Bill.
Jeff Gordon getting passed by the 18 of Bobby Labonte, took just right side tires. Under that condition, the 24 car is just too tight with just the 2 right side tires. Matt?
Bobby just jumped into that 8th spot on the last caution. They took on 4 tires when they really wanted to do a gas and go. He'd run over some debris on 2 separate occasions, had a cut on the right front, but it wasn't leaking air. Lucky break for the 18. Marty.
Matt, Rusty Wallace is in the 10th position, kind of the lowest he's been since early in the race. Billy Wilburn just asked him, is everything okay? Rusty came back and said, yeah, we got a great car, just too tight in the center right now. Alan?
So Rusty has faded back to the number 10 spot now. 26 cars on the lead lap, about to be 25, as Bill Elliott, the race leader, comes up to try and overtake Kenny Wallace and put him a lap in arrears. Working through the field, let's go back and continue on down. Bill, you got the 11th place driver?
I sure do. That'd be Todd Bodine having a good day. Think they can get a top 10 here, Alan. But right now, Todd just says the car is way too tight. They'll try and fix that on what could be their final green flag stop. Behind him, Mark Martin, and the last radio transmission from him to the pits, something we've heard a lot this season from some of the Roush guys. The motor's just not strong enough. Upstairs, Alan.
Jimmy Spencer was just in and out of pit road on a green flag stop, and now here's Dale Jr. in, Dave.
And his car was getting a lot tighter. The last time he pitted, they made a slight air adjustment. The car was actually better, but this time he needed a wedge adjustment because it was getting tighter and tighter. Marty?
On Ward Burton's last stop, as we go back to through the field, he restarted 15th on a 2-tire stop, came on immediately, said, I don't like this, car sliding everywhere, but now, car's pretty good. Dave?
Jeremy Mayfield brought out the last caution for a cut left rear tire. Since then, he's been all quiet. He restarted 26th, and now he is all the way up to, I'm still going up the chart, 14th. Very good. Joe Nemechek in the 01 car, his car was a little bit tight, so the last time he came in, they made a track bar adjustment to loosen up that car. It's better. The 5 car of Terry Labonte, well, guys, he has had problems with a broken tailpipe. Now, sometimes you would think that would put fumes in the car. That's not his problem. The tailpipe runs right underneath the seat. It is not his head that hurts. It's the other end of him. It's hot on Terry's seat right now. They're going to give him this material next time he comes in for a pit stop. Let him decide which pieces will work best to help his hot seat. Matt?
Tim Brewer not here for Kevin LePage. Crew chief by committee, a 2-tire change on the last stop for Kevin LePage. He jumped all the way up to 11th. No changes, but the car is still a little bit on the tight side for the former Busch winner here at Homestead. And also Kurt Busch back out on the racetrack. Every point crucial, every position will determine whether he'll jump back into 10th in points. At this juncture, he is 18 markers out of being on the stage in New York. They are working diligently to try to get Kurt on the stage for New York.
They got Terry Labonte running in 16th, Matt, and Kurt right now in 41st. Ryan Newman is the next car. He might catch for a position. Ryan also back out on the racetrack in 40th place, and they are 108 down to the leader, respectively. How about that beat-up race car, Marty?
Yeah, it's a beat-up race car, but this team has had so much success this year, worked so hard in the garage to get back out on the racetrack, actually went out came back in to change all the spark plugs so the car just was not running. They're going to have a big fishing tournament tomorrow. And BP, guess who's paying for the big fishing tournament on the 12 team?
Alltel.
You are. They took the BP Challenge bonus, saved it, and that's what's paying for their fishing trip tomorrow. So they told me to tell you thanks.
And they didn't even invite me.
No, you're not invited,
nice.
BP. That wasn't very nice, was it? I just thought about that.
Terrible.
See, Ryan Newman came into the day in 4th position in the championship standings. Looks like he's going to end up finishing in 6th. And the difference between 4th and 6th, well, let's see, 4th pays $1.075 million, 6th pays $780,000. You want to do the math on that?
Yeah, about $225,000. A lot of money.
To guys like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Marty?
Add in BP 700 too, Alan.
Yes, that's
To
right.
that total.
Scheduled pit stop a minute ago has dropped him down 2 laps down in 29th spot, Dave.
Here's why he came in. He wasn't anywhere near his fuel window. This is the left front tire. And Robbie, if you can come over the top here, because I don't want to touch it because it's still really hot. This is the right front tire. Cord showing on the right front.
That's a camera situation we talked about just a moment ago inside our Home Depot virtual garage.
Right.
Let's see, 7th car. That's Matt Yoakum's pit. And get Matt to run over and take a look at the tires that came off of Jimmy Spencer's car, too, because he was on there for an unscheduled pit stop a lap before Junior and has put him way back in traffic. He's 27th now, 2 laps down. Just to back up. All right, you can get it for me right now. Go ahead, Matty.
The reason why Jimmy Spencer pitted, he reported to Tommy Baldwin, I have a bad vibration. I'm not sure where it's vibrating, but it's up in the front. Pitted back on lap 183. When they took the tires off, the inside shoulder of the left front blistered all the way around.
Okay. Rusty Wallace coming in. 73 laps to go. Questionable whether he'll be good to the finish from here or not, Marty.
Yeah, they asked him to go about 3 more laps. Rusty said, I just can't go very much longer. The car getting way too tight in the center. What they're going to do is a round of wedge in the left side. Doug Engel, the backup gas man, makes that adjustment. Long time on the right side for Rusty Wallace's team. Trouble on the right front. This will be a 4-tire stop. Costly stop on pit road under green. A long stop, and that will lose him some positions on the track.
You just got to hope now that all the other cars make a pit stop before something happens to bring out the caution flag.
Bill Elliott out in front, but his advantage is shrinking. It was 3.5 seconds a little bit ago. Now it's 1 1/3 as Jimmy Johnson closes in.
What's that, Ricky Rudd?
Is that Ricky Rudd smoking badly in front of Bill Elliott?
Yeah, NASCAR has been keeping an eye on that 21 car for a while. They say it's not dropping anything, so that's why he's been allowed to continue.
Ride with Ricky.
I don't imagine if you're the race leader coming up on the back of a guy to lap him and seeing that car smoking is a very good feeling.
No, that would not be good.
There it is, right there.
Now would be a good time for Bill Elliott to make a pit stop because a lot of traffic in front of him.
Yeah, but I'll tell you why it wouldn't be a good time to make a pit stop.
Because he can't make it the rest of the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He's going to need to run a few more laps. Elliott coming up on the back of Larry Foyt. Tell you what, Larry Foyt in that 14 car is on the lead lap. What a great drive he's had. They had his best ever Winston Cup qualifying effort here on Friday with a 12th place start. He's on the lead lap in 19th place now. And we're almost at 300 out of the 400 miles. This is a team, no question, that has struggled.
Biffle?
Yep. Caution flag.
Right front tire.
Come on down.
Well, when they write the headlines on this one tomorrow,
Come on. Yeah, bud.
it's going to read, great new racetrack, but some work to do to get the tire situation worked out.
Yeah, well, a brand new pavement. I mean, that's the biggest problem they have was a brand new pavement. It just builds up the heat so fast on these tires.
Because there's so much grip in the racetrack.
All right, caution with 68 to go, so they make the pit stops with 67 to go.
Most of them will be able to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, you'd think so. Greg Biffle wants out.
And it was announced he was competing with, let's see what you can see. Well, it's already lost the tire and hit the wall up in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I don't think it takes a great deal of imagination to figure out what happened there.
No.
Which you don't have much of anyway, so we know that's a stretch.
And Biffle had been competing with Jamie McMurray for the Bestest Rookie of the Year award, and didn't they announce earlier today that it was McMurray?
During the race today, it has been made official. Greg Biffle with a win this season, Pepsi 400 at Daytona in July. But his season's going to come up short of the finish with a crash up in turn 3 at Homestead. And there is the Ray Bestest Rookie of the Year for 2003, Jamie McMurray. Very solid season for the 42, especially the second half of this season. Third on a couple of occasions, Indianapolis and the August Bristol race. Last 12 races, 7 top 10 finishes. He's moved up 8 places in the overall championship standings. And you see the rookie standings coming into today's season finale. So congratulations to Jamie McMurray, Rookie of the Year for 2003. Well, Ricky Rudd's huffing and puffing, but it hasn't blown the hood down yet.
It's coming from the front, looks like.
Tony Raines just waved past the pace car, correcting an earlier mistake, NASCAR says, on their part. So he's going to get sent back around and get back on the lead lap.
I guess Larry Carter and the boys had continued to talk to NASCAR about their problems, so they finally gave him the lap back. Good for NASCAR.
I think we've got a little bit better view of what happened to Greg Biffle. Look ahead from Dale Jr.'s car.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Tire.
Not too good.
Problem. Boy, that 21 is really strong.
So pit road is closed, which is why none of the drivers came in. Greg Biffle turned his car across the pit exit and came to a stop in the infield by where some of the rescue trucks were, and they wanted to make sure they didn't leave any debris, so guys put on fresh tires and then cut the tires, leaving the pit lane.
Good thinking.
Yep. So here they come. Pit road is open. Stops are going to be with 65 laps to go. And we have 20 cars on the lead lap. That'll come in and pit here.
So everybody's going to take 4.
They got to. I mean,
you know,
it's a full tank of fuel.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe somebody back there that gets desperate and tries it.
Yeah.
66 to go with the tire situation. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I didn't say it would be advisable. I said they might.
Dave.
They might try.
And it won't be Bill Elliott. He'll take 4, please. The problem, they can only go about 63 laps on fuel, but that's just what they're saying on the radio. Marty?
Kevin Harvick hits the pit stall, bottom of your screen. Car tight on that run, 4 tires. Tear away off both sides of the windshield. Half round of wedge out of the left side, trying to loosen him up. Matt?
To win this race, Tony Stewart said, I need help just past halfway in the corner. I need to be freer. Jeff Gooch Patterson made a wedge adjustment. Greg Zipadelli shuffled the air pressures all the way around on this car, and he is going to beat the 9-car off pit road, Bill.
Great stuff by the 10 team, just 4 tires in fuel. He beat the 48 out of pit road. The only problem is they probably cannot make it from here on fuel.
Well, all they're going to need is about 1 more caution flag for 3 or 4 laps, and they got to give it a shot.
And they may even get it here if it takes them a few minutes to clean the track up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those guys did a good job again.
Johnny Benson's team off pit road, 3rd.
Attaboy, Shane. Get excited.
Trying to send Johnny Benson out in style with a top 5 finish. Now another NASCAR Winston Cup memory. July 4th, 1984, the Firecracker 400 at Daytona is ignited by a pair of NASCAR Winston Cup legends. Richard Petty edges Cale Yarborough by a bumper, setting the unbreakable mark of 200 career victories. On a red, white, and Petty blue day, President Ronald Reagan is on hand to greet the King after his historic win. 33 years of NASCAR Winston Cup racing memories.
Just an outstanding memory from the King's career. 200 career victories, and anytime you can share a moment with the King, it's a good one. And the sellout crowd here today got to share some time with the King as part of the Winston victory salute when he drove around the track with Tony Stewart earlier today. Under caution here at Homestead, Johnny Benson in his last ride with his team. They've changed the crew chief, but they've held the team together. Benson threatening for another win in his Winston Cup career. Here are the guys who just had a pit stop of 13.01 seconds.
Jay Guy, crew chief from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Mike Luca, Windshield, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin.
Shane Cook, front tire carrier, Franklin, Tennessee.
Buzz Bergdorf, front tire changer, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Brian Perry, Jackman, Mooresville, North Carolina.
Steve Ginnenbacher, rear tire carrier, Quincy, Illinois.
Greg Burkhart, rear tire changer, Sheridan, Wyoming.
Jimmy Watt, gas man, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Steve Mann, catch can, Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Johnny Benson driving a car that was built between the 10 team and the 01 team, purpose-built for this track, trying to go to victory lane in his last ride in this car. We'll see what happens. Back upstairs from JB Davey.
Thank you.
And Fuzz Bergdorf, you saw him, front tire changer, getting married next Saturday night.
Johnny Benson still looking to find a ride for 2004. Good way to go out today. Talk about the pit crews. These guys get the spotlight on NBC. 2 weeks on Sunday, November 30th. It is the McDonald's Pit Crew Championship, fueled by Powerade. Head-to-head against the clock. Penalties for things like loose lug nuts and spilled gasoline. You can see it. November 30th, 1 Eastern on NBC. Been talking an awful lot about tires today, Marty.
Yeah, Alan, remember we told you Rusty Wallace said on the track, I can't stand it anymore. We found the source of why he couldn't stand it anymore. Down to the cords. This is actually the right rear. Most of the problems we've seen today have been on the right front. This is the right rear on Rusty Wallace's car. He had to pit early. He's now lost almost 2 laps. Bill?
This is the right rear tire that just came off of Johnny Benson's car. His car was one of the fastest on the track with this. Imagine how fast it'll be if the tire doesn't come apart like this. We'll see what happens. This is a big concern for these guys as we get ready to go back to green here.
Let's check out the Little Debbie lap leaders who spent most time out in front today. It's been Bill Elliott early and Bill Elliott often. Kevin Harvick and Brian Vickers have led the second most laps today.
138 laps. All right, now to lead the next 60, can he get in front of that 20 car? That might be a little bit tougher than some of these other cars.
Yeah, Tony Stewart out in front for the first time all day with some clean air ahead of him.
And they've been working on the cars. Matt Yoakum has told us, he's told Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief, about each and every time they've stopped, they've made some changes, trying to make it better.
Well, we'll see if Elliott's been showing his hand up to this point. I think we're about to find that out.
Maybe he's been
bluffing a little bit.
Yeah, it could be. We'll see.
Restart's going to come with 60 laps to go. We think most everybody should be good to the finish on fuel with these extra caution flag laps they've got.
Nah, I think you're right. Hate to say that out loud, but...
Second place in the championship as they run. Jimmy Johnson in pretty good shape to lock up that spot, worth $1.7 million. And here we go. 60 laps left in the season. Tony Stewart leading Bill Elliott for the first time. 21 cars on the lead lap. Ricky Rudd was the lucky dog with that last caution.
Tony Stewart was hoping Bill Elliott ran side by side with Rusty Wallace for a corner or two. Didn't happen.
Cleared it.
Stewart, Elliott, Benson, Harvick, Johnson. Then Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, Mark Martin, and Jeremy Mayfield.
Well, it looks like Stewart really slipped up the racetrack, getting out of 4. Look at all the...
Oh, trouble in the corner. Joe Nemechek's around.
Hang on, Joe. Hang on, Turbo. There you go.
Caution's out. Everybody gets by.
Now, that's going to help all these guys that might have had some concerns about fuel mileage.
Yes, sir.
Run a couple more laps under the caution flag, and, you know, usually a 2 laps of caution for 1 lap of green. That all started, I think, with a 38 car. I think the 38 car, Elliott Sadler had a problem up in the corner. Right in the middle, see the 38 get loose, go up the racetrack, and there we see the 99 get in the left rear of the 01. I'm not sure if that has something to do with 38 or not.
Yeah, it might not be cause and effect there, but. On board, Joe Nemechek.
No, I just don't think Joe knew Jeff Burton was down there. See Jeff Burton down there on the line, and Joe, well, it's hard to tell if he came down or Burton was slipping up a little bit.
But watch Terry Labonte just come through. Orange nose car there. Remember, he's trying to get that final 10th spot in the championship standings.
He about eliminated that problem, didn't he?
Yeah. And Joe Nemechek right now sits 25th in the championship standings as a result of that spin. That's the last money they pay cash for at the end of the season. NBC Sports live at Homestead-Miami Speedway, where the Ford 400 is under caution once again, this time yellow number 8, coming out after Joe Nemechek spun around off turn 4.
Let's see what happens with the 20 before I was rudely interrupted by a wreck. Coming off before, see the gap that he's got on Elliott. See right there, the wiggle? Just a little bit, but then the wreck happened.
Enough to keep him on the gas.
Oh yeah, I mean Elliott was right there.
Okay, I think it's time to
Why don't that
cue the duck? Look at that.
Hey, why don't Benny do it? That's right. Alan,
Go.
Cue the duck.
Very good, sir. Our Aflac NASCAR Winston Cup trivia question, and this one relates to the championship. Under the current system used to determine the champion, who scored the most points in one season?
Cale Yarborough.
No.
Jeff Gordon.
Well,
yes, ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. 1998, 13 wins for Jeff Gordon that year, including 4 in a row at midseason. He finished in the top 10 in the last 20 races of the year.
I forgot that Cale Yarborough only ran about 31 races back in 1978 when he accumulated about 5,000 points in just 31 races. So
Jeff Gordon was the correct answer. Very good. Well, thank you. Appreciate you paying attention today.
Yeah. Can I go back to sleep now?
No.
Dale Jarrett, UPS car. He was a champion back in 1999, was it? Yeah. 2000, I guess Jarrett was the champion.
99 for Dale, Bobby Labonte.
2000, that's right. There you go.
There you go. Hey, you know, we've been talking about Winston's exit from the sport after 33 years today. There's another company that's exiting the sport that's been a very long-time supporter, and that's the 76 brand. It's been through many permutations and different corporate ownership since it started as the Pure Oil Company 53 years ago as NASCAR's official fuel supplier. They don't get talked about much, and that's because things don't go wrong. As Mike Helton said in the drivers' meeting this morning, the NASCAR president, he said the teams show up at the racetrack, they get their fuel, it's consistent, there are no problems, and they've been such a big supporter providing something very essential to automobile racing, gasoline, for 53 years. They're out after today as a result of corporate changes and a new direction and a new policy for them. But a standing ovation from the drivers in the meeting this morning in recognition of their contributions to the sport.
Yeah. What, 1952, I think Pure Oil started supplying the fuel. I see the signal's been given, 1 lap to go. By the way, Matt, what about the 20 crew chief? Is he loose or what's the problem there?
Well, let's talk to Greg Zipadelli. About 53 laps to go, Greg. How important is it for your car to get a long run?
Well, it just seems like this car's better on the long runs. We're not bad at the front side. The 9's really good, so we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Monte Carlo's been pretty strong all day. We got the nose and the ductwork screwed up pretty good this morning, you know, at the beginning of this race, and these guys worked hard to get it back. It's probably 80-90%, but it seems to be good enough right now. We'll just keep our fingers crossed, see if it'll work for another 53 laps.
When Zippy asked Tony about the race car, he said, well, all I can tell you is I wrecked in turns 3 and 4. I just got lucky and didn't hit anything. Dave?
All right, we'll get to Bill Elliott's race car in a minute. First of all, Mike Ford, how much do you get paid?
If we win, it'll be a lot.
There you go. Very important. Can you make it on fuel? And I know you're having some tire issues. Can you make it on tires?
Yeah, I think we're clear to go to the end. Got 53 laps to go. You know, our Dodge has been really good all day. A little bit loose in, but had been afraid to adjust it. You know, the clouds are coming. I think it's going to be just right. 20 and the 48 have been pretty good, but I think our Dodge can smoke them.
He sure hopes so, and get that big paycheck, guys.
And, you know, he just mentioned something, those clouds, which is going to cool this racetrack, which is going to help some of these tire issues right now.
53 laps to go to the checkered flag. Tony Stewart leads, Bill Elliott second, Johnny Benson third, Kevin Harvick fourth.
Where are you going, Rusty?
Well, I'll tell you where he's going, probably.
To the pits?
Probably. You cannot, the rules under NASCAR rules, the 20 car, the leader of the race, is supposed to have started.
He is the control car for the restart. He's supposed to make the first move.
I believe the 2 car will be coming down pit lane.
No call yet.
Well, maybe not.
If they were at that restart point, the green flag was waved by the starter. Oh, yeah, here's the call. Post the 2. Rusty Wallace, black flag.
Battle for the lead. Here comes Elliott on the inside of Tony Stewart.
Showing his hand.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Tony, you thought you might win, but guess what?
Here's what I got.
So Bill Elliott back out in front. He has dominated today. Johnny Benson closing in on Stewart for second.
Stewart up the track. Benson's going to take advantage of that little slide.
He's going to try to. Did he? Did he make it by? Looks like, yes, he did.
Johnny Benson has had only 3 top 10 finishes this entire season. The second race at Richmond, the second race at Michigan, and at Dover. That 5th place run at Dover back in June being his best finish of 2003. Johnny talked about this being his last ride in this car. Said, when I got together with this team, they were bankrupt, basically. Remember the year he almost won the Daytona 500 in a car that was just basically white?
Yep. And left Jack Roush to go over there, as a matter of fact.
Yep. Went from there to be NASCAR Winston Cup winners at Rockingham a year ago. Kevin Harvick closing in on Tony Stewart. As you look at the race for second, third, and fourth. Jimmy Johnson is back to 7th place off the restart. Watch this. 48 car.
Oh, a little loose. That's a big loose.
That's a catch your breath loose?
Yeah.
And you see currently in 7th position. Labonte now 5th. Jeff Gordon 6th.
3 wins so far this season for Jimmy Johnson, looking to finish in second in the final championship standings. Last 5 weeks for that 48 team, third, second, second. Incredible run to close out the season. I talked to crew chief Chad Canals this morning. He said, we have had not a good year, we've had a great year, and now we're going to go back and figure out what we can do to be even better next season and try and win this championship.
I just can't get over every time we go to that shot how many RPMs this car is turning. Listen when we get down in the corner here. Well,
so if he's turning that kind of RPMs, we almost guarantee the 24
is
turning the same RPMs.
Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson racing for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Now for 3rd place, Kevin Harvick still stalking Tony Stewart. NBCSports.com. Log on there, find out more about NASCAR, BP and I, do some writing there. You can email Benny your NASCAR questions. Talk about things that have happened in this 2003 season. NBCSports.com. Been trying to decide what to write about that later this week. I think I'll talk about some of the big stories of this year and the big headlines and what they mean for the future going on down the road.
Yeah, we know what number 1 is.
According to the fans.
That's right. Winston stepping down, and Nextel taking over as the title sponsor for this series in 2004. Hey, what, these cars are pretty doggone close.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like they're running almost the same groove. They're all in the same spot. Marty.
Wally, Kevin Harvick's car has been pretty good today, very good. The last caution really helped them out, got them within their fuel window. They were going to be right on the edge. They were going to risk it, though. They were going to be on the edge of making it all the way on fuel. On that last stop, very small change for Kevin. The car does get a little tighter the longer he runs. This is the car he won Indy with. They're hoping to win their second race of the year with this car.
I love that story Todd Berrier told about the 29 car. He won Indy, and Kevin Harvick did his donuts and blew a right rear tire and tore the right quarter panel off the car. And he knew that Richard Childress would want that car for the museum there in Welcome, North Carolina. So he went into work Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning, stripped the body off of it, and Richard comes in about 10 o'clock and says, by the way, that car that we won the race with, let's put that in the museum. Todd, oh, doggone, Richard, I'm sorry, we've already stripped the body off. I'm trying to get it ready again.
That's good as Richards could show up at 10 o'clock, not 7 o'clock, so good move.
Kevin Harvick running in fourth, on Tony Stewart and Johnny Benson for third and second. Harvick involved in the beginnings of an accident back at lap 5 that took Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch out of contention for the day. Harvick sliding down through the grass, avoiding the spinning and crashing cars around him. And he's gotten back into contention for a good finish.
Richard Childress shows up to the shop next time after a win, a little bit earlier.
If he wants the car for the museum, he better show up earlier.
Jimmy Johnson by Jeff Gordon for 6th place.
And hey, I just saw Bill Elliott passed by Rusty Wallace. Who's what, 2 laps down, 3 laps down?
He was 2 laps down before he jumped that restart and got the black flag and the penalty. Now he's 3 laps down in 29th place.
All right, here we come. Harvick, that 29 car, for third. Oh, Tony did not give him a lot of room. He said, you're going to have to force your way by.
Harvick cannot get 2nd place in the championship standings. With the gap, he's back in 6th, but he could get as high as 3rd. His best ever finish in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series in his couple of years on the circuit was a 9th place back in 2001. So Kevin trying to see what he can do here.
Sun problem has gotten any better.
Now, granted, we're looking at this through a clear lens where most of these guys have dark shields, so it's not quite that bad as what we're looking at through the camera.
Terry Labonte and Kurt Busch continue to have a great fight for that 10th and final spot on stage. Here's Kurt. He's up to 37th place now. He can get 36th as Hermie Sadler's out of the race. Another 8 laps, Kurt will move up to 36th. Meanwhile, Terry Labonte has fallen back to 21st. And so for now, it's Kurt by the slimmest of margins for that 10th spot in New York.
3 points. Now, you know that during the season, there's some place that these teams could have made up 1 position.
Oh, that was close.
Talking about the
Hornaday
90 and the 31.
It's Robbie Gordon, Ron Board. Ron Hornaday in front of him in a 4th entry from Richard Childress Racing this week, kind of an R&D effort. That is a 2004 spec car. Everything except the rear spoiler, and in the test day they had here on Wednesday, they ran that car with the shorter rear spoiler that the teams will run next season, and all the different RCR drivers had a chance to get in it.
Oh man, this 3rd position has gotten very exciting. As Harvick tries to get by, here comes Labonte and Jimmy Johnson to join him.
Now let's throw Benson in there too. How about a 5-way race for 2nd?
There we go. Elliott's pulled out about a 2.5-second lead.
Yeah, he's gone.
Bill, what are they saying in the 10th pit?
They're listening. It's to what Johnny Benson's saying, that they may have a motor problem.
Oh, man. Look at this. Harvick working and working and working Tony Stewart. Might have him this time. Harvick's alongside. Now, boy,
Tony Stewart is just coming right down on top of Kevin Harvick in the corners, making it very difficult for Kevin to make the pass. Not giving any room for Kevin to slide.
Bobby Labonte's going to try this on the outside, I do believe.
Look at this for 24th through 27. What's at stake there? Well, a couple of things. First of all, 25th was the last place that they pay Winston money at the end of the season. And the other thing is, use the final standings from this season to determine the provisionals for the first weeks of next season. It could mean whether or not you get into the Daytona 500.
As a matter of fact, in 2001, the final provisional finished 22nd in NASCAR Winston Cup points in 2000. 22nd. So, you know, if the same thing would happen next year, none of these guys, if they did not make it through qualifying, could start the Daytona 500.
And if that cut line happens to fall at 25th and you could have finished there but finished 26th instead, and so on, you know, these positions are important.
A lot of reasons to race hard right now.
Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart are racing hard.
Now you got Bobby Labonte right there. He's trying to decide who he wants to follow or help push.
And Benson said, I just wish these guys could do this for about another 25 laps and let me get a few more seconds in front of them.
Yep, taking the heat off of him.
Well, when they spent $10 million to rebuild the corners of this speedway, this is what they were looking for. Side-by-side racing, two equally fast lanes on the racetrack.
They got it. And what's really cool about this place is that low groove really does work. You don't see the high groove like a lot of places. We see the guy in the high line really have that advantage getting out the corners, but you don't see that as much here. They have an advantage, but it's not as great as it would be at other racetracks. 18 is right behind his teammate. Matt?
Well, it's the same race car that Bobby ran so well with at Charlotte and should have won Atlanta. Fatback told me after Atlanta, we're saving this car for Homestead. But the tradition with this car is it typically is just way too free on entry, and then it gets too tight late in the run. But today, they've had to work all day to tighten this race car up on their last stop and air pressure and track bar adjustment. They may now have the best car they've had all day. They're just mired in traffic trying to work their way to get a shot at Elliott.
Ryan Newman, look out. That's not going to... You don't think he was...
He's going to get a wave, I think. Yep, he got away.
Well, remember what happened at Gut Newman's car in that condition, so...
Yeah.
While all this has been going on, Bill Elliott has literally been riding off into the sunset down the front stretch. He's opened up a 3.5-second lead on Johnny Benson, looking for 2 wins in a row to close out 2003. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, the caution is out. Mark Martin and Ward Burton have just crashed down in turn 1. Martin and Burton racing for 10th position at the time.
No front tire issue there.
No, it looks like 2 cars just simply got together. And that flame is in the exhaust pipe. If it starts it up, it will blow it out. But you can't get the car started.
Yeah. Go far. Here we take a look. Mark get loose. Yep. Oh yeah. Mark got loose driving underneath the 0 car.
Really loose. And on the right side of the Fords is an oil pump. So what has happened, he's knocked a fitting off the oil pump, and the oil has come back on the exhaust system. That has caused the fire.
They're pretty close together, which we see a lot of times when you get those bodies that close together going into the corner. Takes the air off the spoiler of the car down on the inside. And they get sideways.
Tell you what, this is a huge...
Now we'll see some pit strategies.
Well, let's see here. The
pit lane. Oh, they are open.
Pit lane is open, and most of the front runners have stayed out. Tony Stewart is coming in.
Got Mark sitting right in the middle of the pits there, too. Not a good spot.
Just sit still just a second. Let all these guys get their pit stops done.
It's only about half the lead lap cars coming into pit with 23 to go. Tony Stewart is in, Matt.
And Alan, he felt like he could not get a top 5 and had no chance of winning unless they adjusted on this race car one last time. They feel like that maybe just this set of tires didn't match up as well as they had thought with what they had as far as their chassis setup. They're not going to go anything too aggressive to try to fix it. They don't want to dial themselves out of their ballpark just in case it indeed was that set of tires. They put another piece of duct tape across the windshield to act more like a sun visor because the sun is bothering smoke going into turn 1.
8 of the 20 lead lap cars pitted here.
So the best Tony can start is 13th. I don't know if he can make it back to the front. He's going to have to really hustle, and he's probably going to need a caution flag in about 10 laps to let him catch back up.
See, Mark Martin's car came to rest right in the middle of the pit lane where he came back around. And so NASCAR has now closed the pit lane so they can remove that, make sure there's no oil there.
Yeah, there's a big puddle of something there right in the middle of pit lane.
This has not been a good day for Jack Roush Racing.
No.
Kurt Busch, 97 car, crashed early. 17 car, blew an engine. Greg Biffle lost the right front tire, hit the wall, and now Mark Martin's made some contact with the wall.
See Ward Burton's car being removed from where it came to rest inside of turn number 2. 9th caution flag of this race. The record for the old flat track layout was 6, the most we'd ever had in it. So we bailed out in the middle of a commercial break to bring you back live and show you what was happening. Let's finish up the business. Bill Elliott is the leader of the Ford 400 with 22 laps to go.
What I'm saying is this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Y'all got to feel me. Sing it with me, yeah.
Side by a fender, one to the side.
Yeah, we're thinking about it already. I cannot wait.
Daytona 500 February. We'll be there.
Going to be fun. NASCAR's biggest race, Speed Weeks 2004. NBC Sports with the 46th running of the Great American Race. What a day we've had here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We began the day watching the close race for 2nd, 10th, and 25th in the championship. The race for 2nd impacted just 5 laps into this one. Kevin Harvick breaking loose, getting up into Brian Newman, who caught Kurt Busch. That affected both the race for 2nd and the race for 10th. Then Matt Kenseth, who already won the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. If you joined us in the middle of the race and wondered why we weren't talking about Matt, that's what happened to him. At lap 29, the engine let go. He's going to finish flat last in the season finale. But it makes no difference.
They still get the party.
They get the big party
here in just a little bit.
Cleaning up some more of the racetrack, so it's going to be a couple more laps before we go green. Marty?
If anyone has their work cut out for them, it's Kevin Harvick sitting in 5th. Todd Berrier, can you guys pass all those guys and win this thing?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, we got a car good enough to run 2nd, I think. If something was to happen to Bill, you can never tell. We don't really know. None of us have been out there and had cycled 45-lap tires either, so we're just going to have to kind of see. You know, normally we'd pit if it was 45 laps on our tires, but now with 20 to go, you got to stay out there. So it's really up to that and this, the traffic and all that. But we got a good enough car to pass the next 3 anyway.
Dave?
With Chad Knaus, he has just told Jimmy Johnson to scrub in his tires, giving him some final instructions now. Enough fuel to the end, and he's already picked up a few spots. Can he pick up the last 4?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we've been running really good all day. You know, the Lowe's guys have done a tremendous job. We had a little bit of problem earlier in a pit stop. Got a lap down, got that lap back, and I think we passed just about everybody on the race car but the 9 cars. So the victory I don't think we can get, but I think we can get the top 2 or 3, and that'd be pretty remarkable for us. You know, I'm just really proud of these guys. They've done a great job all year long, battled a lot of adversity, and, you know, it's just a great, great day for us. I'm really proud of the Busch guys. They did a a great job winning that championship. My hat's off to Brian and Lance, and it just keeps making all of Hendrick Motorsports, a lot stronger.
It's been a good year at that shop. Matt?
The car that Michael Fatback Swain has prepared for Bobby Labonte, he wanted Bobby to stay out. He didn't want to deal with a double file restart. Then he keyed the mic and said, can you please look at my left front? I think I may have a tire going down. Fatback got out the binoculars, looked at that left front as he was going by. Fatback, 18 to go when you get the green. Money time.
That's it, baby. We've worked hard all day. These guys have worked their tail off. Bobby's drove his tail off. Had a couple bad luck deals going on at the beginning of the race. Done a lot of work on the car. I think the car's pretty good now, but we got to get through this lap traffic and see what we can do.
The guy he has to work with now, Johnny Benson, Bill.
With Benson's crew chief, Jay Guy, how's the 10 going to pass the 9?
We're going to need a little luck here, but we'd sure like to give Valvoline and Pontiac and Johnny a win here at Homestead. Especially Pontiac, they've been great for the sport of NASCAR, and we'd like to send them out with a win.
Did the tire test help you, Jay?
The tire test helped a lot. Goodyear brought a really good tire here to this track, and Homestead did a real great job.
Okay, he calls the green for Johnny from right here on pit road, so we'll get out of the way and send it upstairs.
Restart's going to come with 18 laps to go. Tony Stewart, who gave up 6th place for a pit stop, restarts 13th.
Got 18 to go, man. Don't waste nothing. Get ready. Ready. Green, green, green.
Bill Elliott leading Johnny Benson, Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Johnson, and Kevin Harvick, followed by Jeff Gordon, Jeremy Mayfield, Sterling Marlin, Jamie McMurray, and Scott Wimmer up into the 10th place.
And Elliott gets by Dale Earnhardt Jr., the lap car on the bottom. Meanwhile, Benson has some challenge from Bobby Labonte.
He's feeling the heat right there.
Ward Burton treated and released from the infield care center after his crash.
There it is. Got it on the high side. That was a nice move.
It was a nice move.
Coming up next, PBR Mohegan Sun All-Star event. Actually supposed to be getting underway now. Obviously, we've still got 17 laps to go here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, plus the post-race celebrations, including the presentation of the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship Trophy to Matt Kenseth. We'll have it all for you here, followed by the bull riding on NBC Sports. Well, Bobby Labonte, closest he's been to the leader all day. Can he do anything with Bill Elliott? He's eaten up some ground on that 9 car in this last lap.
Sure is. Been quicker than Bill that lap.
Sure was. Almost a 1/10 of a second faster.
Bobby Labonte, winner back in March at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, was as high as 4th in the championship. At the midpoint of the season, Daytona Beach, that has struggled over the late summer. It's dropped him back to 8th in the rundown. He's finished as high as 2nd here at Homestead on the old layout. You see the race for 2nd in the championship. Jimmy Johnson in pretty good shape right now. Elliott a little bit quicker than Labonte on that last lap. Oh, got a smoker, turn 1.
Wow, a lot of smoke.
Ricky Rudd. Well, that's been going away for about half an hour.
That's a real shock there, isn't it?
Caution number 10.
He might have run out of oil. Yeah. Seen him smoking so badly.
Yep. Okay.
10-4. Thanks for all the effort, guys. Sorry we didn't have a better car than that. Sorry we made you work so hard here today, Ricky. We'll make sure we don't do this again. 10-4, we just need to go somewhere and get some testing done.
Ricky Rudd, crew chief Ben Leslie talking about it.
Watch him right there behind Larry Foyt's car. Boof. And who's that behind him? Kevin LePage?
Yeah.
Kevin's going to let me out.
And he can't see a thing.
And by the way, while we're talking about Kevin LePage, just say hi to Tim Brewer, his crew chief, who's in the hospital back in Charlotte. Understand he's got some kidney stones.
That's what I was told.
Not good.
Not too good.
Brewer, you picked a bad one to miss. It's been 80 degrees down here every day.
Steve Gray said to tell you, Tim, that they're thinking of you. Oh, yeah, right.
I wish Tim would get well soon. Kevin LePage got the lucky dog on that last caution, so he's up on the lead lap now in 19th place. Looks like they're going to come on and probably clean the windshield at least.
Yeah.
I talked with Kevin this morning. lot of rumors about this team and its future and so on. He said, I said, what are your plans for next year? He said, at this point, as far as I know, I plan on driving this car when we get to Daytona. He said, I have no contract, but all of our discussions are that I'll drive this car next season.
Well, they've showed a lot of improvement here in the last 7, 8, 9 races this year.
I'll tell you what, these cars have really got some tape on that windshield, trying their best to keep that sun out of the driver's eyes as they go down in turn 1.
Under caution number 10 with 13 laps to go, Bill Elliott is in the lead in the Ford 400 at Homestead. Monday night at 8/7 Central on NBC. It's a heart-pounding new Fear Factor, followed by the hot new drama Las Vegas. Monday night, 8/7 Central on NBC.
That is my favorite show right now, BP. Do you think we get a cameo on that? On Las Vegas?
We ought to work on that.
I mean, you're a player.
Yeah, we ought to work on that.
We can get you a spot around one of the tables.
I mean, I'd have to go to the office and James Conn could yell at me for something.
We
That'd
get
be cool.
Elvis Presley to sing for us. Would be good.
They got a lot to clean up here at this Homestead-Miami Speedway as Ricky Rudd's car dropped a good bit of liquid. They have put a good amount of oil dry down. Now they've got the big jet blowers out to try and clean all that oil dry up for when they send this field steaming off into the corner. It's not like driving on dirt.
But if it's single file,
yeah, that's even better.
Then these guys got a shot, like Bobby Labonte and Johnny Benson and Jimmy Johnson, because they don't have to worry about passing those cars that are a lap or more down.
And our little crew chief interview session there a minute ago onto that last caution, we heard from everybody's but the leaders among the front runners. How about we hear from him, Dave?
Yeah, we thought we'd come pick on him again, but this time we won't ask him about his paycheck, as I'm caught on all the paraphernalia up here. But what about holding off the 18? He was pretty good on that last restart.
Yeah, the first lap, he looked like he got a jump on the 10 car there. A little concerned about that on the first lap when we go back racing. But the next 2 laps were 2 to 3 tenths faster. So I think we got a better race car. We just have to see how it works out. And hopefully our Dodge will be up front come the end.
All right, and of course the speculation and the talk has been around what's Bill going to do after this year. Well, another win here, guys. It's going to be an awfully tough decision whether to keep going or hang it up.
You know, that 18 car sure likes Atlanta, and this place is very similar to Atlanta. I mean, you know, the way the corners, the way you carry your speed through here, and this racetrack reminds you of Atlanta. It's just a little bit smoother. So it's just, boy, he likes these racetracks.
Yeah.
He's always up when it counts. Well, but I think he's right what they were talking about. Bill Elliott looks like he slid a little bit on that restart the first lap, but then the next lap he was about 2.5 tenths of a second faster than Bobby Labonte.
So if Bobby Labonte's team and spotter up on the roof saw that, they're on the radio to Bobby saying, hey, look, if you're going to get him, you got to get him right away.
Exactly.
And Bobby saw that. They don't have to tell him. He saw that as well. He realized that he was able to gain on Bill Elliott that first lap, and then Elliott started driving away from him.
Well, he was behind another car, right? He had a car between he and Elliott on that restart. That's why I said if his spotter saw it. When you're out there running third, BP, you'd see that first guy?
Oh, yeah.
You'd see that? Okay.
If you catch him.
Matt?
Alan, exactly what Mike Ford told Dave Burns is what Bobby Labonte heard from his crew chief, Michael Fatback McSwain. Fatback said, look, cool your tires. We'll have another shot at him, just like we did the 10. You were very good at the start. That's where we need to make our move and then try to hold him off at the distance.
And I bet you go ahead, Bill.
No, go ahead, Wally.
No, I was just going to say, I bet you 18 tries it on the high side, just like he did with Johnny Benson.
You've got a hard guard. You can jump in there anytime you want. Okay? Hey, just a thought about Bill Elliott. We were talking to him for some stuff we're doing for the banquet, and he told one of these stories that he loves to tell about how when he first got into the sport, it was a family operation. You think back about all this because Bill's won so many most popular driver awards, but he was having a good weekend at Darlington, and the reporters came to him on Saturday to talk about the race on Sunday, and he was actually under the car working on it. He saw him come and he stayed there. The reporters saw his brother Dan at the front of the car. They all did the interview with Dan, thought Dan was Bill, left. Bill came out from underneath the car, smiled. The guys walked about 20 feet, turned around and go, wait a minute. Bill went right back under the car and never did the interview. He was always very shy when he first got into the sport. Still, doing interviews is not his favorite thing, but he's one of the nicest guys you can meet and has had a very successful career. 1988 Winston Cup champion.
It's without question one of the more popular drivers in the sport. Some of the things he accomplished, that 1985 Winston Million win and that 11-win season in '85 really captured the imagination of a lot of people, made a lot of people Bill Elliott fans for life.
Might have been one of the biggest things that have happened to our sport was Bill Elliott winning the $1 million bonus from R.J. Reynolds. First time it had happened. Man, and so many people came to Darlington and covered that. Okay, you're rubbing your hands together while
I just like it this way.
Okay.
I mean, it's nice to have a 10-lap shootout and not to have slower cars be in the way of the race.
You're liking the single file restart, is what you're saying, yeah? Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Fatback just told Bobby again, clean off your tires. You are better than he is on the start. That's where you've got to make your move. Remember what he's done to you in the past on restarts and use it against him.
Bobby Labonte with, we seem to think, one shot at Bill Elliott. That's right on this restart.
In turn 3, high side.
There are going to be 9 laps left in this race. Bill Elliott will have led 181 when the green flag waves for this restart. None of it will matter if he doesn't lead those last 9.
And that's what they mean by cleaning their tires off, weaving the car back and forth, because these tires very warm. They will pick up loose debris laying on the racetrack. They've got to weave back and forth, scuff that debris off.
You know what happens when it goes green, you go flying down into turn 1, they don't stick. The race car goes sliding up the racetrack. And right now, that's the last thing you want to happen, because you're going to get passed by a lot of cars with only 9 to go.
That's one that Ray Evernham didn't want to see.
Yeah.
Bill Elliott has led 180 laps today. 181 when they come back around. We've got 21 cars on the lead lap and 9 laps left in this race. Pace truck is off. Elliott and Labonte with Benson, Johnson, and Harvick right behind.
Ready. Green, green, green.
Good restart for Elliott.
Okay, what you're saying is that down the backstretch, Labonte, the 18 car, gets a run and goes by on the outside, right?
I think that's the only shot he's got, BP.
And he's got a good run off 2.
Labonte closing in down the backstretch to Elliott's back bumper.
There he goes up on the outside.
Look at this. Elliott's going to slide up the block.
Oh, close. Almost made it. He almost made it.
Elliott to block, and he hangs on to the lead. Here's Johnson on Benson, trying to find a way to get 3rd.
Whoa, a little wiggle there in a 10 car.
He pulled that back down the block, too.
Got back on the gas.
Meanwhile, here comes Harvick on the outside of Johnson and takes over the 4th spot.
Harvick is on the move right now.
Now to try and get Johnny Benson for 3rd.
Well, if he can run that low in 1 and 2, as he just did in 3 and 4, Benson may be in trouble.
Benson to his crew. That's all I've got.
There he goes. He's right there.
Might not be enough, Bill.
Benson trying to fight him off. Up front, still about 2 car lengths between Bill Elliott and Bobby Labonte. This is the race for 3rd. Kevin Harvick working Johnny Benson's back bumper. He's got to run at him this time.
I think he may pull it off this time. Boy, it looks like Harvick's car is working really good on the bottom.
Benson trying to protect his top 5 finish now. He's back to 4th with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon behind him. No matter the outcome for Johnny Benson, it's been a great drive for this team today.
It's been terrific. I tell you what, these guys going down in turn 1 into that sun, it's almost amazing they can see how to get alongside another car.
Jimmy Johnson, Johnny Benson, 4th place, while Bobby Labonte tries to stay with Bill Elliott, but he's lost another couple of car lengths. Inside of 5 laps to go in the 2003 season.
Johnson's got a little bit of a run there. Enough. Now they got to go down to that turn 1 where they can't see, VP.
He's got a fender. I think he's going to get him here. So Jimmy Johnson to 4th, Benson back to 5th. Jeff Gordon next behind him. And then after Jeff Gordon, you've got Jeremy Mayfield and Tony Stewart. Remember, 13th is where he came off after that pit stop. The restart with 18 to go. Stewart's big foil, the fact that other caution came out and took a number of laps to clean up whatever fresh tire advantage he might have had negated by those extra caution laps, taking away his racing opportunity.
And Bobby Labonte has changed his line. He's going in the corner higher and bringing the car off to the middle of the racetrack, and he's running as fast as Bill Elliott. I don't know if he can close in that gap, but he's trying his best to catch that 9 car. Watch how high he goes in turn 3, and then brings it back down to the middle.
Bobby Labonte started second today, has not yet led. A couple laps away from a runner-up finish, Matt.
Labonte's about 4, now 6/10 behind Bill Elliott. Last time by, Alan, he keyed the mic and said, Elliott's just playing with me.
Well, he's been playing with the field all day.
Everybody.
So it looks like Bobby Labonte's going to come up with a runner-up finish today, pending this final lap. What about this Bill Elliott? 48 years old, the 1988 champion. Long dry spell ended last Sunday at Rockingham. He won at Indianapolis in August of 2002, and it was about a year and 3 months before he pulled off the win at the Rock last weekend. Now he's going to make it 2 in a row to bring down the 2003 season.
Oh, look at
no!
Is he on the flat? On the last lap. The last lap, he must have a flat tire.
Bobby Labonte's by.
Can you believe that?
Elliott is off the pace. Never give up.
Watch out, Bill.
Fatback McSwain is going to get to do a victory dance for us. Last lap drama at Homestead. Bobby Labonte wins the Ford 400.
It's never over till it's over.
I'm telling you, unbelievable.
Bill Elliott's going to come up with an 8th place finish.
Right rear flat.
For the right rear completely apart.
Can you believe that?
Wow. Bill Elliott led 189 of 267 laps. But it's going to be Bobby Labonte going to victory lane. You know how many laps he led today?
1.
The last one, Matt.
And Fatback just about broke the pit wagon coming off. High five from Greg Zipadelli. Just goes to show you never, ever give up.
I told him with 5 to go, Bobby, he's a little bit quicker. Don't give up, don't give up. You don't never know what's going to happen. And right there is living proof, baby. You don't never give up, so they throw that checker flag.
You've lost some that way, Fatback. Now you've won one that way.
It's about time, man. It's been pretty rough over the past 4 or 5 years. Lost a bunch of them with 5 to go, but made one up today.
They end the season on the highest of highs in victory lane.
Watch this. This was when Fatback saw the troubles with Bill Elliott.
Man.
And Bill Elliott's team dejected.
They don't even feel like putting their stuff up to go home, do they?
That's rough. I mean, they obviously dominated all day today.
You know, these races are so hard to win, and to come that close and to be that dominant and come up that short.
There's a guy that's not going to feel like talking.
Need some help with that race car. Smoke. Boy, can't say enough about the drive that Bill Elliott made today.
He had him covered.
Oh, he's got a fire over there. Hey, fire truck. Yeah. No wonder he got out. Okay, let it burn.
Yeah.
How about a fire extinguisher, boys? Now, we saw when he went down in the. That's where the.
That's at the checker flag.
Checker flag. We saw when he was in between turn 1 and 2, the car got loose. There's a look at the crew when they see what happened.
They were ready to jump off the wall and celebrate a win.
That close.
It's rough.
Ray Abraham there on the right, red shirt, black pants.
Can't believe it.
No. Well, Bobby Labonte has won the race. Dave?
And his guys got to jump off the wall instead. Shock from most people, but you, sir, knew you had a great race car. I mean, how surprised were you?
Oh, man, I was surprised. If you could, we don't let you listen to our radio usually, but
what went on in your radio?
I'm telling you, I said 2 laps before that, I said, you know, Fatback goes, keep going, he'll make a mistake. And I said, he's just playing with me, and he's just going wide open. He come off turn 2 there, and that thing wiggled, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I just absolutely couldn't believe it. things went our way today finally. So these guys never gave up. You know, we had a qualified second and about wrecked the first 5 laps of the race, and then finally run over some stuff when they had a wreck, and the car was just terrible. So finally track came to us, and so the guys did a great job. This Interstate Battery Chevrolet was good. Got to thank the folks at MB&A, Advair, Centos, Canon, Champion, Coca-Cola, Norman, all the people back in Interstate. Just got to thank them. Fatback, we never gave up. I don't know, I have to count, but this might have put us back on the winner's circle. We got knocked off a few weeks ago, so maybe it put us back on there. I'm not sure yet, but it's a great day for us, and we never gave up. The guys never gave up. Had a good race car, so it's kind of cool to win the last race of the year. This is my 3rd time I've done that, so that's a lot of fun.
And the last race of the Winston Cup Series. Now, you, all week people have been talking about how this track compares to Atlanta. You run very well there. How comfortable were you here based on that?
Well, I felt really good from the get-go, but the beginning of the race was just terrible for me, and I guess the oil just came up through the asphalt because nobody was on the racetrack all morning. The heat got to it, and you know, we just had a terrible, miserable start, but the track came around to us. It's kind of like an old Atlanta, but it's not really. But it does drive a little bit like it, but not a lot. But it's a lot of fun. The guys here at Miami, they did a great job with this racetrack. I just can't say enough for it. It's something, I think this is the track of the future right here, because it'll only get better, I'm sure. And it was a lot of fun to race here today. We had Jimmy Buffett here today. Well, I didn't have him, but he came today, and we sat with him in the driver's meeting. I can go on about a lot of stuff that's happened this year. I hadn't had a chance to do this since Atlanta. So, but anyway, it's a good run for us. Got to congratulate Matt Kenseth. One dare do a burnout on his day. But anyway, it was a good day for our Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Goodyear tires held up, and a lot of fun.
He set it his 2nd win of the season, and the other one came at Atlanta. Matt?
Dave, you can start to write out a check for $1.7 million. Jimmy Johnson, your goal to get 2nd in points. You got it, my friend.
Yeah, we got it, and I'm just so thankful for all the hard work from Hendrick Motorsports, the support from Lowe's and all their employee owners. This whole race team, I mean, you know, everybody hears the song and dance about the thanks that goes out to their teams, but man, it's totally needed, and it's why this Lowe's team is where it is today. And I need to thank everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, from engine department, chassis, bodies, the whole 9 yards. My guys over the wall, the guys in the shop, the 2448 shop. This is a great year for us, and you know, we just keep moving up. I've never been in a series for my 3rd year yet to see what will happen. So, you know, 5th, 2nd, maybe we can be in Matt's spot next year. So, great year.
He ends the day 3rd on the board, 2nd in the point standings. He'll have a big, big check awaiting for him in New York City. Alan?
Okay, Matt, let's check out how they finished today. In the Ford 400, Bobby Labonte with his 2nd win of the season, and Joe Gibbs Racing's 3rd win here at this racetrack in 5 years. Jimmy Johnson 3rd, Johnny Benson, best of the season.
And you see in the top 10, no Fords. But I think next year they're going to be a little bit better, because NASCAR, I'm told, has given them the new cylinder head with about 20 more horsepower, so that should help.
And Bill Elliott finishing 8th.
Chicago Dime was the top finishing Ford in 11th.
Terry Labonte nails down the 10th spot, points. So that's a nice birthday present for Terry.
And Larry Floyd with his best ever Winston Cup finish today in 16th place.
Happy birthday, Terry Labonte. You said that before, didn't you?
Yeah.
And final car on the lead lap was Elliott Sadler in 21st place. Now you look at those who had the problems at different times during the day. Rusty Wallace, Earnhardt Jr., Spencer with green flag pit stops just before a caution came out.
Kurt Busch would come back to finish 36th.
And the rest of the rundown, including the champion, Matt Kenseth, out first today, 29 laps in with an engine failure. But he'll get the trophy officially from NASCAR in just a few moments. That coming up first. Dale Jr. was one of the guys trying to get that 2nd place in the final championship.
And came up just a little bit short, but a good run for you guys today after some real trouble on those tires.
Yeah, the tire wasn't real good. That probably wasn't helping either, but you know, ain't nothing Goodyear can do about it. They tested and they think they got the right thing, and maybe could have used a little bit better tire right there, but we'll know next year. But this reminds me of like the last day of school. So it's looking forward to going home, having some time off. We didn't get straight A's, but we came damn close.
Summer vacation, winter vacation, and a lot of preparation for Daytona coming up for Junior. Matt?
Dave, a big day for Jeff Gordon as a car owner. As you're watching the smoky burnouts by Matt Kenseth. Very impressive, first off.
Yeah, see, that's my problem. I'm just not putting the nose of my car up against the wall.
It's all about how you pin the car.
I think he's been practicing. I tell you what, that's a pretty awesome burnout right there. And it's awesome to see Richard Petty and Matt Kenseth out there, you know, 7-time champion and latest champion. And I tell you what, that's pretty cool. We had a great day too. You know, finished 4th in points. Jimmy got to stayed in 2nd in points. Really proud of everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, and got to thank all those guys at our entire facility and Hendrick Motorsports. We won the engine builder, so I'm excited about that. All the way around, great effort for the DuPont Chevrolet, and thank DuPont, Pepsi, GMAC, Quaker State, Haas, Delphi, all those guys. Thanks for everything they've done for us all year long. We'll be back next year trying to do it again.
An awesome day for Jeff Gordon. An awesome season as a Cardinal. He finishes 2nd, 4th in the driver's standings, Marty.
Bill, I cannot imagine the sheer disappointment. Did you have any clue that something was going wrong?
Yeah, when it blew out. No, I mean, we had a great race car. I mean, our Dodge ran so well today, and just it's an unfortunate thing. But, I mean, you know, you win them sometimes like that. I don't know if I've ever won one like that, but I've sure lost them like that. But I'm proud of the guys. I mean, we've done an awesome job this year in finishing the top 10 in points. And we've accomplished a lot of goals. But, you know, obviously it wasn't our day, but I'm proud of the guys.
A long winter for you coming up tomorrow, and you've got some decisions to make, Bill.
I ain't got no decisions to make, man. I'm ready.
You're ready to race?
I'm ready to go.
All right, sounds like he's ready to race next year in 2004.
Yeah, when you have a couple weeks like he's had,
exactly.
You don't start thinking about retirement.
Johnny Benson, best finish of the season today. Let's hear from him.
He won 2 fishing tournaments this week, and you almost won another race, Johnny. A great effort by you and this team.
It was, you know, 10 Valvoline Pontiac just done a tremendous job, and you know, really got to thank Valvoline for the opportunity, and same with Hendrick Motorsports. But great engines all year long, and it's been pretty cool, you know, just to be able to work with this race team. And Jay Guy's done a tremendous job. James Ince, I mean, everybody. I mean, I hate to have to really breaking this deal up because it's just a great team, and you know, but I got, you know, on the same token, great opportunity for us, and really got to thank Winston for the 33 years that they've been just done a tremendous job here. And you know, my next year is uncertainty. Don't know what I'm going to do, but in the same token, it's been great to be here, and we'll see what happens for next year.
He's still looking for next year, but today he ends 4th here in Homestead.
We'll talk to the top 5. Here's how the final NASCAR top 10 will look for 2003. Terry Labonte edging ahead of Kurt Busch by 12 points to get that 10th and final spot on the stage.
Jimmy Johnson closed that gap considerably with Matt Kenseth 43rd place finish, just 90 points back.
Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick moving up at the expense of Brian Newman, involved in the early crash today.
It cost him a $200 or $300 today.
And farther on down, Kurt Busch dropping outside the top 10. You see Jamie McMurray, officially named Bestest Rookie of the Year earlier in this race by NASCAR.
Greg Biffle drops back 2 positions today after he had some trouble down in turn 1. Michael Walker continues. Bad luck continues. Lost a couple spots today.
Setting up the stage for the official presentation of the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship Trophy to Matt Kenseth and the Roush Racing Team by NASCAR President Mike Helton. NBC next, PBR Mohegan Sun All-Star event. World champion Chris Shivers and Bull Riding's All-Stars battling their fierce beasts of 2,000 pounds. The excitement of the action continuing here in just moments. Next on NBC with the PBR Bull Riding.
That's pretty cool. They've got some kind of hydraulic lift.
Yeah.
Move that car up there. I'm impressed.
What they do, they drive that up underneath the trailers and then brought it up, right?
Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't kind of underneath. It was open there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And then they closed it after that.
Yeah.
All right, in the middle of that group is our Bill Weber.
And we're down here waiting for Matt Kenseth to climb out of the car, and that's about to happen. So they're going to get Matt out of the car, and here comes your 2003 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, the official celebration, as is tradition after the final race of the season. Richard Petty presenting him with his championship flag. And that will be added to the top of the podium here along pit road. So Matt will climb up there and raise his banner as the 2003 champion. And Matt posing for some pictures up there in front of the banner. Come on up here by your trophy. First of all, congratulations. A disappointing day, but an outstanding season for you, your crew, and of course Robbie Reiser and Jack Roush.
Yeah, we had a great season. I mean, it's obviously very disappointing to drop out that early in a race and not get to race all day for a victory, but we had a wonderful season. I'm real lucky to have such a great team behind me, and so honored, you know, to be able to do a victory lap with Richard Petty, the king of stock car racing, and for him to present me with that flag. It's just a huge honor to be up there with all these great champions, and just very fortunate, very blessed to have such a great team and people around me.
And it's been an amazing season for you, but certainly an amazing career climb for you as well, Matt.
Yeah, it's been an amazing ride. It still blows my mind from coming from the short tracks to Wisconsin to the day that Robbie Reiser and his family gave me the opportunity to drive their Busch Series car, and from there it's just been a whirlwind. Robbie Reiser's been a great friend of mine. He's been a huge part of our success, and he's been there every step of the way, and he's done a great job organizing this team.
Well, let's bring in Andy Schindler, the CEO from RJR, and I think you've got a presentation to make.
I sure do. Matt, congratulations on an outstanding year. Congratulations to your number 17 DeWalt Ford team and to Jack Roush Racing. In recognition of the year, I want to present you as the 2003 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, the trophy, and this check for $4,250,000.
All right, thanks a lot, Andy. I really want to say thanks to Winston real quick for everything they've done over the last 33 years. They've been here longer than I have, and thanks also to Unical 76. They've been a great sponsor of sport for a long time, but really appreciate everything Winston's done, and we hate to see you go.
And we echo those thoughts as well. So the celebration continues here on the front stretch with Matt Kenseth, check and trophy in hand.
And so the season is over. And some thoughts here before we go. First of all, it takes about 140 men and women to put on these so complicated broadcasts of these races. Their talents individually and collectively, their dedication, their passion for the sport. I marvel at them all. Thank them so much for their effort these last 20 weeks. It's been an eventful season right down to the last lap and the drama we saw here today. Thank you for joining us for NASCAR on NBC. We cannot wait till we bring you the 2004 Daytona 500.